And welcome everybody back to the NLC. It's Division 2 time, the penultimate day of the regular season. I am Brackish Brit. I am joined by Zathdos to bring you 4 more games that could have an immense impact on our playoffs. Zath, you excited as I am?
I'm super excited. We've got some really exciting games come up, of course, starting off with 42 Gaming against Unique. Unique most likely going to be the favourites here. They are second seeded. And when I've been looking at their team, I don't see any weak links here.
You were so excited when we were looking up the teams yesterday. All of those stats that you were just throwing at me. I'm sad to say that most of them kind of bounced off the forehead, but one that stuck with me is that there is no player on this team outside of the total league top 10 KDA scores.
See, that's one of the fun people like me where I just get super excited at these nitty-gritty stats. And if you're top 20, it means every single one of your players deserves to be on a top 4 team. So no wonder they're one of the best in the league.
I don't want to sell short 42, though. I kind of jokingly named them Chrissy and the Enablers, which does sound like a bit of a bad band name. But it's kind of the squad. Chrissy has been set up to shine, and he has been shining.
Yeah, completely. Of course, the AD carry for the side of 42 Gaming. He is first in damage per minute through the whole entire league. So if 42 want to have a chance of going against Unique, who is a very solid roster, Chrissy is definitely the one to play for.
Absolutely. We're nearly ready. In fact, thank you, production. We'll get straight on into draft. Unique taking the red side at the moment. As you said, probably favored in this. They are more than likely to hit top 2. Top 4, of course, is the one that most of these teams right now are wanting to try and struggle to lock in for. Both of these teams, of course, already locked playoffs, so it's all about seeding now.
Yeah, it's all about trying to get yourself as high as possible in the regular split because, of course, 42 Gaming only 1 win behind the guys of Unique. And it being the penultimate day, if they win here, maybe there's an opportunity to take them over. So we are going to have the first pick of the Ezreal. Very strong in the meta right now. Can, of course, get flexed towards that AD carry position or towards the mid lane, so plenty of opportunities to play around that. It usually does get paired with an AP jungler, but one thing I've seen about Unique, about having such a strong AD carry as Deadhound, who is probably the second best AD carry behind Chrissy, is put him with something comfortable. That's why the Zeri gets locked in.
Yep, Zeri has been bread and butter for Deadhound all split long, and you were talking about AP junglers. We'll see if 42 want to continue along that path. Ezreal's not something I've seen JJ pick so far, so I'm very much expecting this just to go on to Chrissy. It kind of fits the MO of what this player wants to do. It's really safe, it can make big plays, and we're even going to lock in the Leona, which is Rexat's favorite, and it has been for a majority of this split. So we've already got a really solid first 3 pickup. We'll look to see what Unique want to round out their first part of the draft with.
Yeah, Braum's definitely a possibility, really strong in towards that Leona. Personally, for me, I'd like Emilio here, mostly because of the ultimate, being able to make sure that CC from that Leona gets kind of taken away. But instead, it looks like they are going to opt for their top lane and get that Aatrox in and start banning away these other really strong top laners. Cassante, something that I really know 42 like to play towards the top side for Virtuoso. Of course, you do have that Camille as well if you want some side lane split pushing pressure. But it's all about getting this top lane Aatrox into a comfortable matchup.
And for the most part, that's not the worst. I mean, Cassante, as you said, has kind of been the go-to for Virtuoso, but there's plenty of other options he can go for. Again, for a majority of the games, we have seen him and the entire rest of the team play to make it so Chrissy can have as easy a time as possible. So, I mean, Ornn fits the bill for that. You could pick a vast majority of the top laners that we see a lot of, and it'll do just fine. A lot of them don't have the worst matchup into Aatrox either, so I certainly don't expect him to get smacked in lane by Archfiend unless Bananiasi wants to really spend some time top lane.
Yeah, and I think it's even more important that they ban away these top laners that are tanky, because when you look at the side of 42 Gaming, it's got a really strong AP jungler. Yes, they got engaged from their support, but they still need more of a front line to have the Brand and Ezreal do what they want to do in these team fights. So banning away those tanks puts you onto a secondary tank you may not want. Of course, Malphite open if there is an angle for that. But of course, on the side of 42, support hasn't been picked up by Uniques. They will be banning them away and opt as well to ban away that Yone. Of course, gets paired very well well of the Sejuani, but Unique most likely have to pick their support here, Melio open, or they can go for one of these engaged supports. We know that Brill has been very popular recently. Of course, the Nautilus has that very easy lockdown engage, and that is incredible into champions like that. Ezreal State are going to lock it in.
Yeah, it makes sense. And also, a similar state is there for Unique as well, that having an extra bit of frontline, an extra body that can safely face check. And I think that's a big part of why we're not seeing that many enchanters at the moment. Good luck walking into a brush that somehow like has 3 enemy members in it when you're playing Milio or Nami. You are just dead if that happens.
Yeah, now we're going to have to see what their counteraction towards the Aatrox is going to be, and it will be that Camille locked in. I talked about opting to go for a little bit more damage, a little bit more side lane pressure than that big team fighting, of course. Very good.
I'm going to be disappointed if JJ just goes back to Corki here.
I mean, it's not
it's
bad,
open.
Is it?
I think it would actually be fine, but I want to see this man, step up a little bit more, because his stats aren't the most impressive, and along with the rest of the team, kind of feels like that he's just there to be the part of a stable core that lets Chrissy shine.
Isn't that what you kind of want from this team, is give Chrissy the best foundations possible to find that lead? You gave him a Leona, you gave him a Brand as well to try and help with that damage. So
Zaf.
It really makes sense to that team. As Oriana, possibility.
But Zaf, what if a team just identifies Chrissy as the problem and dogpiles on him the entire game?
Well,
right now, 42, we haven't seen that many performances that would indicate another person who can really step up and take that mantle. Like, I certainly think that Corki, Camille, Brand, under the right circumstances, can in this composition, if Ezreal is to fall far behind. But stylistically, at least, we haven't seen that player really step up yet.
Yeah, and you're very much correct about that. But if there is a time for 42 Gaming to step up, it is now. Camille towards the top lane, incredible matchup into that Aatrox. Will outscale it. Of course, will be even towards the early game. But if Virtuoso wants to step up, it's here. Even towards the mid lane, Corki versus probably that Zeri towards mid is going to do kind of rough in the early game, but is going to have that split push pressure. As one thing we've noticed a lot about this meta is AD carries are rampant through everything. Even Corki's class in AD carry.
We're pointing out, though, that we were talking about how much Deadhound loves the Zeri. He's not playing the Zeri, Zaf.
Yep, not going to be playing that Zeri. Instead, it is going to be putting on Dusty. And when you think about it, Dusty, second best for KDA, of course, third for the most gold through the whole entire series. And Zeri's one of these champions that wants to find those leads, wants to find ways to get themselves towards that late game. So putting it on Dusty isn't that bad of an idea, but still, have an AD carry towards the bot lane, AD carry towards the mid lane, locked up with that Sejuani and towards the jungle, and even a tanky-esque top laner. I think the side of Unique is pretty comfortable with the way they drafted.
To be fair, I do think both teams have got a lot of comfort for the most part, which great to see. The question is that will Unique identify the main threat? It's hard to really say. Like, it's pretty obvious that Chrissy is the one that 42 has been playing towards. Do they want to switch things up, though? That could be something that'd be very interesting. I think Virtuoso is in an interesting position to potentially win that matchup as the game gets later. Of course, Camille is going to be able to trade fine with the Aatrox in early game, but outscales pretty much everything and can become a massive threat, especially to the likes of these quite mobile carries like the Zeri and the Kai'Sa. If you stick them in the Hextech Ultimatum, they are not feeling very good about themselves.
Yeah, you're completely correct about that, because you usually think about a Vi being the best counter against that Zeri. But Camille late game with that true damage is going to absolutely pop them if they're slightly out of position. Of course, I don't expect that from Unique, especially with Deadhound being such a good AD carry and Dusty, of course, being such an amazing mid laner as well. So plenty of opportunities to try and dive around, try to slink around. But I feel like this game comes more down to team play later on, as of course 42 want to play for that side lane, want to try and get into a 1-3-1 or a 1-4 to allow this Camille to shine, compared to the opposite side, where Unique feels like they're going to force these fires, maybe grab these dragons early on, try and force an early soul to make sure that Camille has to join these fights. And of course, Camille versus a different top laner, usually better in these team fights.
Very true. And speaking of the side lane, though, obviously, yeah, we know Camille, beast on the side lane. I don't necessarily know how much I rate putting a carry like JJ or Chrissy on a side lane. I think the 1-4 might be the way for them, as I'm just being told. We are ready to head onto the Rift for our first game of the day. Speculation aside, we'll leave it on the Rift as the teams battle it out. 2 games remain for each of these squads. They've both locked playoffs, but for them, it's about getting one of those top 4 seeds, Stathos. Upper bracket means everything.
And do you know what makes it even more exciting later on today in our third game, Rich Gang 8-4 as well. So if Unique pick up a win here, it forces Rich Gang to win. Otherwise, they are going to be locked in towards that first place. And of course, being the top of the bracket, you get easier opponents. It's easier to try and win NLC Division 2 because the whole goal is to try and get into Division 1.
Absolutely. It's a little ways away just now, though. As we see everybody mostly just chilling out, nothing too crazy happening despite the potential of these aggressive supports. They know that if it went wrong, that would be a very bad way to start off such an important game.
Yeah, going to just do a 5-point for both of these teams. We do have the grass towards the top lane. Look like Virtuoso really wants to just go for those slow trades, get in, hit a Q, and get yourself out there. So there will be a double ward towards the Raptor camp on the Unique side, trying to spot out where the enemy junglers are, as we will have a bit of a trade towards the mid lane. Corky very good early on, of course, because of the E.
And of course, Zeri, you effectively have better auto attack, fancy auto attack at level 1. So not surprising that JJ is able to walk forward. Rexat and Chrissy, however, have been able to get quite a lot down. Rexat taking a lot of autos though. The plasma is stacking. The flash is coming through. Deadhound not quite going to be able to proc that onto the 42 support. So we have 2 extremely low health supports already. Flash is burned by both carries, Barrier burned by Chrissy as well. In fact, no summoners at all for the 42 bot lane.
Yeah, they are completely gone. And when I'm a jungler, I think about
but
this.
They get engaged, looking for the damage down. Rexat is likely to die first, but it's Touch who gets the kill. Deadhound does not have flash. Can Chrissy get the damage down? No, he can't. Touch gets the lockup here. Chrissy still trying to find the damage. The Mystic Shot comes across. Touch still lurking. Does Chrissy feel like he can find it? And the briefest of pauses known to man. We will pan away from the bot lane. The action ended.
Yeah, that's a really close fight. Of course, 42 being the ones to engage earlier on, thinking that they can win out the 2 versus 2, but not expecting Leona to come straight away afterwards. And then when they try and go for this fight again, they have no summoners up. Unique playing it really well early on to be able to tank those Ezreal Qs to allow Kai'Sa to try and find the kills later on. But by the end of it, 1-on-1 apiece, Ezreal has the kill compared to this Nautilus, so 42 coming out as the better ones in that fight.
Yeah, exactly. First Blood goes to the Nautilus, who is the last person you would want it on for Unique. Of course, First Blood's still a First Blood. They're not going to be complaining about that too much, as Rexat shows his face towards the bottom side of mid lane, just to allow JJ a bit of safety to push in that wave.
I was going to be really excited if Touch with his first base was able to get himself some boots, allows him to roam around the map more. As trust me, as a support mate, whenever you get that first kill and you get those boots early, always doing a little slink towards the mid lane and try and make a play around there. It's always a bit of fun and can make the game a little bit more tricky for the enemy support. Instead, it's going to go for that HP, going to make it pretty simple towards the bot lane, as Chrissy is feeling very good. As we said, he needed to find a lead, he needed to carry the side of 42. Have a kill in your pocket in less than 3 minutes. It's looking like it's going to happen.
Yeah, means that he gets to pick up his tier nice and early. He'll be able to stack that up to a very early pickup of Muramana, and when that's completed alongside the Trinity Force, that 2-item spike is frankly terrifying.
Yeah, and one thing as well is Sejuani not being able to clear as fast as something like a Brand, so it is actually going to have double Skull Crab stolen away from them. So even Brand in the jungle getting a small lead, but a very happy lead indeed. Already level 4, pretty close to that level 5 as well, as they will be looking bot lane again.
Touch immediately has the angle onto Rexat. I don't think the Leona has anything to say about what's about to happen here. Chrissy needs to get out as well. Rexat going to look to jump in, sacrifice his life to ensure that the Ezreal can get out. And this is what we needed to see from Bananiasti here, because, as you were saying, Baumif is going to clear faster. He is just naturally going to get more CS. What that means is the Sejuani is, you need to make stuff happen on the map.
And definitely did that. Of course, him being one of the players who absolutely loves playing Sejuani, knows where he needs to be on the map to help his team find the lead. And that initial fight had the wave pushing towards the side of Unique, able to set up a freeze in that position. So it forced the side of 42 to take an unfavorable fight. And because they don't have flashes available from the early fight, Leona has to give up their life to make it where Chrissy is able to farm up. So even ways like that where you think it's a kill that shouldn't have happened, all of it is to try and allow Chrissy to get as much gold into his pocket.
I mean, I would still argue that Rexat didn't necessarily, well, Rexat's death would have been avoided. They did not have any vision.
Well, yeah,
of
but
Nasty making his way down towards the bottom lane.
I'm a support lover. I'm gonna say it straight up. I'm gonna give them every single excuse known to man to make it where they are geniuses.
Oh, Upfiend feeling himself as he hits the level 6. The Ignite coming down though. Virtuoso will be able to trade it back, and TP's available for both of these top laners. So actually ends up being a whole bunch of nothing because nobody's losing away.
Yeah, both waves. It is actually pushing towards the side of 42 Virtuoso. Sweet didn't actually have to TP if he doesn't want to. And Zeri in the mid lane is not really having a fun time here. Constantly getting pushed in by that Corki. Dragon was taken by the side of 42 as well. And now it really feels like the Zeri pick early on, it's kind of been a detriment to this team, as you won't have Prio in mid. Bot lane is having a bit of difficulty when Sejuani isn't there. So it always feels like 42 has that priority to grab the first dragon, and now can of course look towards these Void Rocks as well.
There's a lot of numbers. 42 towards the top side. Bananiasti might not realize that he's actually been completely flanked around. JJ, though, might be in a bit of trouble. Low health on the Corki, but plenty of bodies nearby as the unique jungler will fall, and it will be a nice free set of grubs for 42 to go with that Drake they just picked up.
Yeah, really smart play there, being able to have prior towards that mid lane and using it effectively. Unique also making sure that bot lane isn't going to be able to get towards the tower. Chrissy losing at least 2 waves of this, only going to be able to come in when this cannon wave is able to reset. So still a big win from the side of 42, but Chrissy losing a little bit on that trade.
That's all right, though, because they have won objectively on the other side of the map. Yeah, Chrissy's going to lose a little bit of CS, but they've got themselves Drake. They've got themselves the first set of grubs. That means that they can obviously look to get the Hexa grub when it comes up. That being said, though, Brandon Yassi has made his way into the bot lane again. Deadhound quite low on health, though, as the Sejuani makes the way in. The Ignite dropping down, but to try and tank up as long as he can. He's able to do so. Nicely juggled aggro. Chrissy will not be able to survive that one.
Yeah, shouldn't have gone for that trade earlier on. When you know the enemy jungle is near, you need to be as healthy as possible to make that gank not happen. Because if they were full HP and no ultimate available from the unique squad, that gank wouldn't have been able to go through. So of course, really well played by Den, is able to get a double kill on towards that Kai'Sa. And this lead we found out from the Ezreal from that early play has been majorly negated. Take a look, there is a 15 CS lead, of course, for the side of Deadhound. Already has that first item completed, and that's almost 1,000 gold lead at 8 minutes.
Yeah, the gold's being sort of spread elsewhere, though, for the side of 42. We see Virtuoso has a little bit of an advantage at top lane. Baumif, of course, has been farming up a storm, and so has a good few hundred advantage over Bananyasti as well. So they're not going to be too sad. And of course, again, Chrissy can scale up. They can, once it gets past the 15-minute mark, basically throw all of the farm that exists on the map into Chrissy's pocket, and then that gold lead becomes left. Those rags out. We're going to go straight on in on the touch. Level 6 has been hit, but this Leona is just not tanky enough to do anything. Deadhound goes forward, has to flash out. Chrissy is trying to make the damage happen, will be able to secure the kill onto Deadhound. Touch will trade it back. Baumif going to try and get the damage down onto Touch here, but now in comes the Sejuani, as the damage will be too much for the squishy little brand to deal with. He gets put on ice, and Unique will take the fight.
And that's an absolute tank div. Deadhound trying to flash in to get themselves out to safety, but Chrissy doing a really good job pumping all of their damage onto Deadhound, finishing off first, and then getting themselves more afterwards. So Unique able to get 1 kill on towards that Kai'Sa, but the big winners, of course, 442. As
so
Dusty
close with the Zenith Blade out of Rexat. Dusty, skin of his teeth there. I mean, he had flash, he had the ability to jump over the wall, so probably wouldn't have died there, but I felt like he, felt his life very, very, very briefly flash before his eyes.
Yeah, Dusty just showing off his mechanical skills. There, one of those champions that can jump around a lot.
JJ not having the best time here. Rockets are missing as the rapid fire's coming through. Touch will be able to play bodyguard. Baumif considered looking for him for a moment, but will think better of it and go back to continuing to build up a farm advantage over Benanyasti.
Yeah, we'll be able to see everybody on the map. Top side is looking faithful to the side of 42. And this is a great example about, we said, somebody else needs to step up on this 42 roster. And perfectly right now, Virtuoso is exactly ready to do that. Has those two kills towards their name, has a small CS lead towards the top lane, even has almost a tower plate advantage towards the top side as well. So if you want to find somebody to carry this game that isn't Chrissy, I think top side might be it.
Even if Virtuoso did have a rough time, we already talked about the just sheer utility of the Hextech Ultimatum against these carries from Unique. So all the better that he's also going to have a Cho'Gath ultimate on a 5-second cooldown.
Well, I mean, that's always a benefit, isn't it? Having the Cho'Gath ultimate fixes almost all of your issues. Sejuani will be towards the spot side, maybe looking for a dive, but Beneath is here, making sure that they are able to get themselves sorted, allowing them to be able to farm this up. His dragon has just spawned. It will be the second one for 42. They want to try and contest this, but it is difficult with mid getting pushed in, and same with bot.
There's really no need for them to contest it. They got the first one. They can chill out. They can get their farm. Dusty looking to put some damage down onto JJ. Some good fancy feet. Means that the Corki won't take too much damage, but he will not be able to step in. And so Unique will even up the Drake score.
Yeah, and as we look towards the top side, 42 as well, looking for those Void Grub, trying to get themselves 6, and this is really good for their play style with bot lane.
Breaks that again, though. Caught up. This damage is going to be too much for him to deal with. Chrissy, you can do a little bit over the wall. That is going to be your support dying, however. But, as you said, the Grubs are being claimed, and Balmeath also just did a casual walk away from the Grubs for a moment to find himself a nice tasty Aatrox.
Yeah, Rexat having real big difficulties there. The main reason that he shouldn't have been there is because topside is your strong side in 42 gaming. Always play around there, especially when you have Virtuoso having an incredible game. And now, with him being slow on this play and almost dying for it, it means that his AD carry can't even walk to this wave. So that one death has allowed Unique to find a counteraction to 42 getting those Void Grubs.
I'm happy to say, Zapdos, Unique understood the assignment. They have been trying to body Chrissy as hard as possible. This Ezreal is 20 CS down. Rexat stepping forwards to look and apply something, but look at these Unique members that have moved down. Dusty has left mid lane, just as JJ was looking to make something happen. Balmeath looking for something, but Dusty will smell a rat, and the Scry's Bloom will keep them aware of what 42's up to.
First side completed for Balmeath. If he does find somebody, gets his full combo off, he might be up to 100 to 0, especially a Zeri in these plays. But of course, 6 Void Grubs over to the side of 42 Gaming. That is the thing I am most excited for, as top lane isn't going exactly well in that one play. But with first item completed, I'm expecting Camille to slowly take over this game. And once she starts hitting these towers, she's going to absolutely destroy them.
Oh, Hotfiend. Buddy, I don't know if that's the best place for you to be right now. Has to flash away. The stun will not quite come through, and the bounce of Pyroclasm doesn't happen either. Balmeath is still trying to make it happen. The stun will land. There's no flash. Archfiend will drop touch, trying to make something happen, but will end up having to dredgeline back to his own tower, as the Aatrox does now seem to be the weak side. 42. They are changing up their playstyle. Virtuoso and Balmeath now the strong members. And this Camille and Brand seem to be in a really well set up position as the game goes on.
Yeah, really can't win this position with Camille having towards the top side and finding that kill, and no teleport onto Archfiend towards the top side. It will allow them to take a bit of damage off this top lane tower, but that is nothing compared to the Zeri down bot lane, as the bot lanes for both of these have opted to go towards the mid lane, and the Zeri being very quick at pushing these towers, and with the amount Unique has done towards down there as well, it just allows Dusty to get an extra 300 gold, practically a kill from that tower.
Oh, the tower's already dead, by the way.
Yeah, I was saying when he killed it, he's able to get 300 gold off it.
Oh, I thought it had died even sooner. Play by playcasters, ladies and gentlemen. Not paying full attention to the grand scheme. That's Zap's job.
They don't even want to know when we do prep for these games, how you're just like, oh, let's make some jokes like Chrissy and the Enablers. Sounds like a band, lol.
Yeah,
That's
I
actually enough prep.
I have the easiest job. I got a sound yeah. Oh, I don't want to undersell play-by-play casters everywhere, but you know, it's setting up for making you sound smart.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's not like for the whole entire time I was just like, oh my god, did you see this stat bracket? Just towards the top side, Virtuoso does need to be very careful here. There is a 4-man unit looking towards him. Leona is nearby to try and help here, but I don't think they can stop this guy.
They're just going to have to use the TP. And Rexat now looking to try and find a way in from touch as well. Unique are kind of split here, but the TP from Dusty now coming through. Rexat again is going to drop Virtuoso, trying to get away, but the stun will come through. The frost will be permanent. Deadhand flashing forwards. JJ is able to trade it back. Valmy, how much can you do here on the plan? A lot, it would seem, as the damage blasting through. The burn will be enough to secure 2. Chrissy trying to chase onto Dusty here. One more Mystic Shot would do it, but he's walking into Archfiend, and one more hit from the Dark Hidden Blade will be a quadra kill for Archfiend.
And that is massive for the side of Unique, as they were constantly figuring out, how do we deal with this Camille? How do we stop her from finding the lead? Well, having a quadra kill onto your top laner is going to make it a lot easier, especially when you get yourselves that reset and find your second item on this champion. As 42 never had to take that fight, all you do is get Camille to leave the top lane tower with that TP, go towards the mid lane instead, and try to make a play around the second dragon or anywhere else on the map, because after going for that play, they have lost so much, and now 2,000 gold down.
Yeah, very down in tempo. Unique are going to be the first back out onto the Rift, and will be able to secure that first Hex Tech. Drake, ignore the top left. But right now, that does mean that Virtuoso is being left alone. In fact, Rexat, Helmeath, and JJ are all the top side right now, just to ensure that tower is going down for sure. Chrissy, however, has been left alone at the mid lane turret, which Unique are going to take for free.
He can try and defend this wave by hitting them with Mystic Shots, but isn't able to play it fast enough to Balmeath heading towards the mid lane, or sorry, Archfiend heading towards the mid lane. Able to pick up that tower. The Unique feel like they're just out macroing the side of 42. As yes, Camille's towards the top side, yeah, 1, maybe 2 towers, but you've lost the mid lane, you've lost the bot lane as well. So now this map is so open for Unique to choke you out.
Meanwhile, Deadhound trying to get Shelly out to safety. The tier 2 did go down in top lane as we see the fight in progress. Virtuoso not going to be able to survive against Archfiend. All of those kills that happened in that top lane fight, and this Aatrox is becoming more accurate. Army will be able to secure the shutdown, however.
Yeah, it's the world ender, maybe the game ender after that quadrant kill. It seems like nobody can win that 1v1 against him, at least for a very long time, as the 2 items come through, and Archfiend very strong at this part of the game. And it makes it even better from the side of Unique, as their biggest goal is to try and get these 2 Lich Dragons, get themselves that soul, compared to 42 that wants to play the side lane of Camille, but now she can't even win against this Aatrox unless everybody just babysits her.
The second item's not too far away for Virtuoso, so I want to say that item imbalance might well have been the real cause of that 1v1 loss. Balmy going to walk into his jungle to find that it is not very hospitable at all, as all of the CC under the sun comes down. He is going to go golden for a moment.
TP.
Use what damage he can. The TP coming through from Virtuoso. Trying to find Denver, but he can't cover the blast cone. Will be able to secure the kill onto Balmy. It's turning into chaos here as Archfiend comes in, trying to find the damage. Virtuoso is able to get away. JJ does not have the flash to get over the wall. Survives for a decent while, but it will be another triple kill to Archfiend. Now 9 kills on the Aatrox.
So you remember this thing of an item imbalance? I think it's going to be a lot more now, especially with Aatrox having 9 kills in towards his pocket. And 42 were the ones to engage that fight, thinking that they found a pick off on towards the enemy team, but of course isn't able to work out. Unique using the TP onto the Aatrox to get him in, and with the amount of kills he had, he could just kind of take it over, because it was a 3 versus 2 at the end of that. But against that Aatrox, it feels like it can be a 1 versus 5, and he could just do anything he wants. So really good play from both of these teams, and the gold lead is still 2,000 over to Unique.
That in mind, the fact that 42 haven't started bleeding out further since we last checked in on the gold means that there is, you know, good signs for them still. If they can hold on for a little while longer, maybe pick up that completed Muramana for Chrissy, then we might be able to see some good stuff. Rexat again though, caught up, has to flash away with 15 seconds until the Baron comes up. Look at the top side of this jungle. It is completely dark for 42.
Yeah, they wanted to try and get themselves over towards that Baron. Are very quick at clearing it. Remember, they do have a double AD carry onto the team. So if they want to try and finish that off quickly, they will be able to do so with their Hound.
Dead Hound, Riders, no flash, no flash, is able to use the killer instinct to get away for a bit, but Meduso will lock him down with the Hextech ultimatum, and 42 are just here faster. Archfiend looking to come from the side, but he is far too late, and as the Baron hits the rift, there's a jungler in the dirt, there's a bot lane in the dirt, and it's on the solo laners of Unique to save this Baron.
Yeah, they need to try and do something. They need to look for this engage. Archfiend has that ultimate available. They have to make a play now.
Dusty has the lightning crash as well. You can find the angle in, but Baron's health dropping lower and lower. They don't commit now. It might just be too late. Archfiend doesn't commit. He gets committed on, and Dusty is found wanting as well. Fires the shots through, but Chrissy doesn't care. Mystic shot to the face, and just like that, the game has flipped 2K up to 42.
Yeah, and the two best players on the team aren't able to do anything at the back of that, as there's a 3,000 gold lead in the jungle. Top lane is completely even now after that Baron. It just feels like everywhere has gone well from the side of 42. And this all comes down to Unique not setting up for this Baron properly. They wanted to push out top and bot lane and then all come together to gain that vision. But of course, the pick off coming onto Rexat gave themselves that opportunity.
Lost in the macro source a little bit, perhaps, are Unique. They continue to push the damage. 42 gonna step on into the river here. Obviously, they don't want to give Unique access to a Hextech soul point, so they will do their macro due diligence, push in the mid lane. They do have an opportunity here to potentially catch this mid lane tier 1 turret touch, trying to find one of those carries, but will end up finding only minions. The Drake now spawned. Feels pretty difficult for Unique to do anything about this.
Especially the poke from the Corki and Ezreal making it so you can't really walk in without taking that damage. And as well, Touch is at half HP from the poke earlier on. Feel like Unique just give this up, allow 42 to grab themselves the second dragon and maybe look to try and make a play somewhere else. But with this Baron available as well, I think it's just full defense mode. Just try and push out these waves as quickly as possible and see what you can do, because they got this mid lane tower up, which allows them to at least have a foothold early into this game, as Dusty is still pushing out the side lane, trying to make sure that they only have to worry about that one tower.
Yeah, Batuso has been sent top lane to deal with that wave. Has TP available, but Chrissy will be able to keep him as Batuso off the teleport, comes in and takes 3. Dusty the only one left alive as 42 go marching down the mid lane.
And that was just a beautiful engage. Everything you wanted as Dusty.
Still looking, Batuso will lock Dusty down. 20-second death timers. There is a wave coming in as well. I don't know if they can end the game here, Zapdos, but they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, 15 seconds, 10 on towards the jungle. If they want to do it, there is a possibility. But that was a perfect fight from Unique. That's exactly what you wanted, finding the pick onto JJ. But it just seems like Brand just has too much damage.
They are looking to make this game end, pushing the damage in. Both Nexus turrets dropping the DP coming through. Rexat trying to stop Deadhound from doing his work. Coming in, Nexus will drop, and 42 will secure their win over Unique. Second loss for Unique in 2 games. They lost to Garden Gaming yesterday also. Potentially a little bit of a slump coming through as the season ends.
Yeah, I really think a slump is coming through from this team, because it means that both of these 42 and Unique are going to be 8-4. So a big victory from 42, as there's 3 teams now locked at the #1 spot. The one team that I'm really excited to show up is going to be Rich Gang. 8-4 as well as the 2 other teams we saw today. But if they win in their game later on, they could secure themselves first place in NLC Division 2.
And their opposition, let's not forget that they have an opponent in that game, is Fourth Wall, a team who are on the precipice, effectively. They are not in the very bottom spots, but relegation has to be lurking in their minds as a potential thing that could happen. If they can steal a win away from the likes of Rich Gang, that would do them a lot of good, keeping their hopes of playoffs alive. That is going to do it for Game 1. We're going to be back in a few minutes' time with an interview from someone from 42. Back in just a sec.
stories told. Watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust. Despite how much we lost, you will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. No. I got passion. What I carry on my shoulders, I'm showing stories told. Watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust. Despite how much we lost, you will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. Fire passion. I got fire passion. Fire passion.
Welcome back, everybody, as we are joined by Virtuoso. Congratulations, 42 have now confirmed themselves a top 4 spot. So upper bracket in playoffs. How does it feel to do that against Unique of all teams?
That was a mega hype game actually. Holy. Okay, so I was like really far ahead top early, and then the Aatrox got like 7 kills in 2 fights. Oh, sorry. I see. Sorry. So then the Aatrox got like 7 kills in like 2 fights, and then I was like, okay, I'm no
Yeah,
longer
that
ahead.
was kind of rough.
And then I was a bit scared, but then we like my jungler smurfed, and I smurfed the last fight as well, and then we like I guess we just won.
Yeah, really good job on that. One thing I did want to ask, because if I'm a top laner and the enemy gets 7 kills and is 9-4 or something, I am pretty petrified. And of course, your whole goal on Camille is to try and go 1v1 in that side lane. Was there something that changed after we found those kills to try and find the victory?
Yeah, definitely. Like, so I was saying like early, because I killed him. I think we killed him twice with my jungler, and I was like really far ahead. And I was saying, okay, guys, just chill bot side. I will win through side lane. And then he suddenly got like a lot of kills, right? So we kind of had to change plans. But luckily, we had like Leona, Camille, and we had like ignites and stuff. And he was going full squishy build, so it's kind of easy to just like focus him and burst him and one shot him. It was pretty hard for him to play against our draft, I think. So we kind of just swapped it up, I guess. I mean, last team fight wasn't really planned, but I guess it worked. Like I looked at the timer after, and it's like 23-minute game, and it was like it felt like a really close game, but somehow we ended in 23 minutes, I guess. So yeah,
A lot of
but
fighting going on. Everybody trying to make that pinpoint moment. So, of course, you guys are guiding towards the playoffs, have secured that top 4 minimum to that. Is there anything that you're excited for? Is there any team that you're scared of? How are you feeling about the playoffs?
I mean, we just beat Unique and Rich Gang, right? Which are like other top 2 teams. So feeling pretty good right now. I feel like we improved a lot. So I'm kind of excited to play like best offs. I think BO1s are getting kind of boring now. So just want to play. I believe it's best of 3s in first round, right? And then it's BO5s after.
Yep.
So yeah, I kind of just want to play like best offs now, and I'm really excited to play. Because last split we missed out by like 1 game to make playoffs, so I was a bit sad. So yeah, I'm just hyped to play now.
So you've got one more game in the split, obviously. Tomorrow up against Fourth Wall. Are we expecting a 5-win end to the split, or are you going to grief it for content?
I mean, I want to win. I don't know about my team, but I hope they want to win too. So hopefully we don't grief for content or other reasons. So yeah, I hope we win tomorrow. I think it's like, I think we should probably be favorites coming into it now after our recent games, I would say.
After that, I think I'd like to say so, yeah. Well, we'll see you tomorrow for that, of course. Congrats on the win, Virtuoso.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to send you away, and I'll send you away to another break as we get ready for game number 2, as we make ready for Garden Gaming taking on Lazy in Life. Back in a few.
Showing stories told, watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust, despite how much we lost. You will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. Told, watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust, despite how much we lost. You will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength.
Welcome back, everybody, ahead of our second game of the day, Garden Gaming versus Lazy in Life. Garden Gaming have already locked in playoffs. Lazy in Life, they would lock it in with a win. How are you feeling about this matchup?
Well, it's going to be a close one, to say the least, as we had top 2 and 3rds playing last time, and now we get to have the 4th and 5th seed so far. But he wants to get to that playoffs, because you don't want your season to end here. You don't want to, not have that extra moment. Those series going best of 3, always excited to come through. There are a few players on both sides that I really think can get themselves over towards the finish line. Of course, Garden Gaming, their top laner Uzo is actually first in gold chair. Absolutely loves to be Mr. Krabs, get all that money towards himself, and does back it up with first in KDA for the top lane into first overall. Wow. That's true. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing him because he's a big split pushing player. Loves that loves that Sejuani. So hopefully we can get that coming out for today. And of course, on the opposite side, we have Lazy in Life Pieball competing to be the best mid laner in the NLC Division 2. He is second in a lot of things. Second for damage, second in kill participation, 4th for gold share, so plenty of really strong stats from Pieball. So I really want him to step it up today and show why he can be the #1 mid laner, as that's really going to help accelerate his career to, even if Lazy in Life doesn't make it towards NLC Division 1, I think this player might.
He's been showing some very, very strong performances. Lazy in Life, though, are in an interesting spot right now, just because based on their previous performance, Garden Gaming's last game was against Unique yesterday that they won. Lazy in Life's last game was against Chaos, or however you want to pronounce it. They lost that. And we've got to remember that Chaos is one of the teams who is currently struggling, flailing to avoid relegations for the most part. So Lazy in Life dropping a game to them, that not something you would expect to happen.
Completely. I wouldn't agree more with you. And the question is now, does Lazy in Life deserve to be in that playoff spot? Because of course, they beat Unique, a very strong team. But you said beforehand, they're kind of dropping off a little bit, not doing as well as they did at the start of the season. And of course, they did beat or lose to Chaos, who is one of the lower teams. So if they're able today to beat Garden Gaming, I don't think anyone could disprove that they deserve to be in the playoff shot. So they really have to make it up today, as I really think this game's going to be very close.
Well, I mean, if they beat Garden Gaming, they confirm that they are in playoffs. Literally no one could refute that they are playoffs worthy because they did it. That is yet to happen, however. Garden Gaming do stand in their way. We talked about Pieball, obviously. Very strong player in his own right. If something were to happen to him, shall we say, who else would you maybe look towards to carry this team?
Well, it's difficult to say because I got a few stats on Sim having the second most assists in the game, which means that everybody wants to play towards that mid lane. But of course, you can put it simple. If you know that their top lane is super strong, play towards your AD carry, completely split that map and put all your eggs in one basket for Tidebringer, because he's a pretty solid AD carry, being about the middle of the pack through all of the stats I've been looking at.
He's been looking pretty good. We'll see how well he does into Michelin as draft is ready to roll. We'll get on into that one right quick. We'll see. The Seraphine has been taken away. Those of you who know, you know.
And do you remember when I said second in assists? If he had Seraphine every single game, I can guarantee you he'll be first in assists. Press that W, gives everybody like a minor shield, and you get the assist for it. As Lilia is going to get banned away on the side of Lazy, as we're seeing a lot of these priority picks still being available. Ezreal, maybe Lucian mid lane if you want to. Of course, you have that Zyra, who actually wasn't picked up last game, and even the Sejuani. So we'll have to see what they want to, handshake and get themselves to give over.
Well, plenty of bans still to come, as Oriana will be taken away from Pieball, one of his favorite champions. I mean, he's got a deep enough champion pool that there's plenty you can go back to. This is the guy who's been playing Veigar to great success in Div 2. So, meta be damned, this guy's got picks.
Yeah, lots of damage in that late game, able to scale really well, as even Gen G picks it up here and there to give themselves more safety. As that Rumble is going to get locked out, Uzo, the strongest player on this Garden Gaming, so you can't give him the best top laner.
Fun fact, I did a little bit of digging this afternoon because I had a bit of spare time. It was not Uzol who played Rumble in their victory over Unique. it got flexed onto Loki so that Uzol could play the Camille R5 and then run the Rift from there. So, lovely bit of draft action. I am always a big fan of that, as the Xin Zhao, taken away from Milkshake. He does love champions like Jhin. So we'll see what he falls back onto. Loki, though, has been a big lover of these AP junglers, as you were saying. So it might just be as simple as locking in one of those. Oh, I mean, who can't play Sedge? Let's be real.
Well, there's your answer. Apparently, Loki really wants to play Sejuani's. We did see a lot of thought behind that of what do we want to play? Do we want to play someone that's high damage in towards the jungle and force our mid laner in towards an AD carry position onto that AD slot? Or do you want to pick up that Sejuani? Maybe it leaves you open for a Yone mid lane. Camille, of course, pairs up incredibly with it. And with the way that Garden Gaming likes to play, I definitely think Sejuani is the best pickup here. So now Lazy can decide what they want to pick up. Most likely is going to be their jungler, as I would love to see that Brand or Desire on their side. As we have that Ari locked in. Whenever I see Ari, I always think about Vi.
It's a good duo, but I question locking in Ari
It's
on
just too
R1.
early.
Like,
It's
Primal may be comfortable on it, but did you really need to pick it first? You could have picked it on R3 if you really felt like you needed it. And now they are being a little bit more out in the open, as Milkshake will fall back to another of his more AD picks, will be the Viego. I am looking at Squidly, though, on the other side for Garden Gaming, because he has been a big lover of the Corki. Note that the Corki is banned.
Yep, Corki being banned away, so isn't able to pick that up. Remember, he has plenty of other champions in his arsenal. Talia, an amazing pairing in towards that Ares, that could be a possibility. You can, of course, go for the Azir either way, something that is pretty much, you play it, and it's there, and it does a good job at practically everything. Has great side laning, has great split pushing, has great, of course, clearing in the early game. As now, I would like maybe the AD carry to come through, or maybe even the support on the side of Garden Gaming. My only concern with that is if the enemy team wants to pick up Braum with that jungler, it's going to be very difficult to try and go up against. So instead, it looks like they will be opting towards the top side. And they're putting Uzul with Nectar.
Where are the bot lanes at?
They don't matter.
0 players.
You know that last game where we said AD carries matter? The closest thing we have that is a Corki, which shows how much both of these teams really opt towards that. As we will be seeing the support most likely getting locked in from the side of Lazy. I really like it on this red side, as you're able to ban away other supports that are very good at countering it, especially champions like that Braum or anything that wants to, well, stops things from coming in. And I'm questioning this Renekton pick because overall, yes, Renekton's fantastic champion, has CC, works really well with the Sejuani, but when you have your top laner Uzul, I would love the Gnar, I would love maybe the Camille to come through. So I really hope maybe there's some flexibility towards it. Maybe they can have a really good AD carry matchup as MKL, pretty solid AD carry. But whole season they played for Uzul, so we'll have to see if they have made the right decision. As to the second ban phase, AD carries, of course, getting banned away as none have been picked.
Interesting that Lazy aren't looking to ban out some of the more aggressive supports, like Nautilus, like Leona, because obviously the joke goes that you don't have a support with Alistair on your team until level 2.
Yeah, not going to be able to do much into that. Benefit with Nautilus or something with the Alistair is able to be that engaged because they're very short range on the side of Garden Gaming. If Alistair ever wants to go in, he's easily going to be able to go in, so you don't need that major long engage like an all on your team. So very well played by Lazy. As the second man phase coming through, Cassante again taken off the bat. I'm interested to see if they want to try and ban away the Camille, something that is very good in towards that Renekton later on, or maybe just ban away an all, ban a little bit more pick potential that I feel like Lazy wants to do, because their full comp so far is one of you is caught out and we're going to capitalize.
Yeah, they can't lock in the likes of an Ornn here unless you want to do something weird like flexing a Renekton support. So that does now mean that there's basically no penalty for Lazy and Life picking whatever they want. They are going to give some priority to Strato in the top lane, give a comfortable... Why? Hang on. I have questions. They've left top lane to R5, but they know what the enemy top laner is.
Hey, we are drafting for them.
We have a duo now, but now
Yeah,
Garden Gaming Like, Mikkel and Ermin have the opportunity to just go, I bet we're going to pick a bot lane that counters that.
See, the problem is I don't even like the Varus coming through because you don't know who the enemy AD carry is. Ashe is open. I preferred Ashe probably on the side of Lazy. And you're against an Ashe Leona as an AD carry Varus who has no ways of escaping. You also have to be scared of a Renekton and a Sejuani. It just feels really difficult to play.
The peel options right now are fairly limited. Now, of course, you have left top lane to R5. You can make that into an Ornn. But I'm not all that convinced still. Like, Tidebringer is going to have to play nigh on perfectly if he wants to even exist in any proximity to a lot of these Garden Gaming members.
Yeah, so I feel like the only way that this lazy comp is going to work out is this mid lane 2v2. They pick the Ahri really earn to pair with their jungler. So if they want to try and make something work, they need to find a pick off onto the Azir, where has double dashes. Sejuani, a very tanky member, even early on, and it just feels really difficult to do so. At least their top laner does have that counter matchup. Jack's, of course, going to outscale that Renekton later on into the game. But when I look at these team fights, it's completely not even close. If Garden Gaming are even, they've won those team fights.
It does kind of feel that way, especially I need to see perhaps a little bit of a change in auction right now, because if Tidebringer comes onto this rift with barrier into an Ashe, I got some questions, because you're basically begging your support to pick up Mikhail's for you.
It's not even that. It's like, you need to pick up cleanse, barrier, and just everything under the sun to stay alive in this bot lane. And when I look at the bot lane 3 versus 3, I don't even feel that confident from the side of I mean, you physically should just, not play your PC later on if you aren't able to pick up that cleanse with the team. As like I said before, this bot lane, very difficult to go into. You're against a Leona, Sejuani, Ashe. If you ever get caught out, you are not escaping.
I'm worried about the level 1. Specifically, I think Mikkel and Ermin, if they can land a flash stun onto Tidebringer, what is Sim going to do about it? Like, headbutt the Leona out? Okay.
Brackish.
What about the Ashe?
I'm scared. I'm scared for Tidebringer. I'm really petrified for him, because if I'm an AD carry...
As a Varus appreciator, I am also quite worried. This is very much the Ralph Wiggum, I'm in danger situation.
Yeah, because that's the reason that you haven't seen Varus really that popular in this meta. Is Sejuani's come in. You have the Leona as well, been very popular because of the war mob changes, pairing really well with that W. I think Leona's the best support you can pick, because even if it's against that Braum, you have that solar flare, so you don't even have to engage with it. Plenty of different options. So maybe some small changes they can make later on. They still have, of course, a game later on if they want to try and get themselves in towards the playoffs. But guess what? Just be better and you'll still win. So it's great and all having a great draft, but it just gives you the tools to have an easier game. So it may be more difficult. Brackish, we've all played those solo queue games where you think you're never going to win, but you make that outplay and you just somehow make it.
Oh, I thought you were going... I not really so much for me. My teammates outskill, and I'm just sort of existing. Like I'm playing Jarvan, and
okay, that flag and drag combo
with 3 enemy members, or I'm playing Diana as a primary engaged champion because my team doesn't have any other engaged. That's the reality of life in the Brackish sphere.
Yeah, Brackish, it's a little bit more difficult for me. I was having a really good time. Just finished university, got myself a first in that. And I'm like, okay, I can come back to League. I find out I was 150 LP Masters, left for 2 weeks. I'm just, Diamond 1. And I'm just sitting here just depressed.
Oh, woe is me, Mr. Diamond 1, while I'm sat here in Emerald 4.
Brackish, we need to get you up. No, nothing towards boosting. We'll play some games together. You can play the Diana mid. I'll play Barge. New carrier skin came out pretty recently. So have to buy that.
Why am I not surprised that you're a Bard player? I don't know.
Did you not know this? Bard is the best champion to ever exist in the game, because you can ult your teammates if they make you mad. You can ult the enemy team to, win yourself the game. And you can even ult your team by accident and the enemy team and lose the whole game, so everything's on you.
I think there's a term for this. I think like gifted gambler. do you like gambling? Do you like gambling with your life? Like is this just like the MO of Bard mains?
I mean, we only have one damaging ability. We have a portal, we can move around the map quickly. But yeah, we might have to be gamblers. Even though me as a person haven't gambled once in my life, even when FIFA was out and you could buy those Ultimate Team packs, I would always just save up the coins from the games to buy a player instead of opening those packs.
God for that. I mean, I'm not going to get political, but you could perhaps infer my feeling on things like that. I don't really like football, so thankfully I never got involved in FIFA.
Yeah,
I'm the least British Brit to ever exist.
Oh, come on. You must have been there for the Euros when it was coming all about.
I mean, I pointed and laughed when England lost.
Okay. Do you know what is coming home? Worlds this year. World finals here in the UK.
Oh, yes.
Pretty exciting to see that.
You better believe it, boyo. If I don't get to be in stadium, I'm still going to London just to meet up with folks. So hopefully I'll catch you there.
Yeah, 40 minutes away. Going to be an absolute blast. Going to see what team's going to be there. Fnatic, the team I support. They might make it. Look, they're going to get there. They're going to get to maybe the quarters if they're lucky, and they're just going to get trounced. I just know it already.
This is something I heard this on Euphoria, and I think it's so true that Fnatic fans, especially the really enfranchised ones like yourself and Black Bloxer, they're so realistic about what Fnatic is. It's like, oh, we have really humble expectations of what our team is going to do.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one thing I have to defend one of the players on Fnatic for. Me being a stat head, me absolutely loving the league, loving everything about Fnatic. Well, most things about it when they win the games, is everybody's talking about Noah, saying he doesn't deserve to be on Fnatic. Anybody at home, if you go up and look at the stats at Noah, he is a top 2 AD carry in the LEC. Yes, he may make mistakes in these big ultimate moments, but except for that, he's actually a sensational player. So make sure that you always do your prep. And I feel like that's the big thing for casters like us, is we have the final choices to say if we like a player or not.
The thing with Noah as well, like I guess we're talking about Noah now. The thing with Noah, in my opinion, is he's still quite a young player. So the nerves is kind of to be expected. That's something that as he grows as a player, he will sort of grow out of, hopefully. And yeah, the stats don't lie. Yes, okay, in the high pressure moments, sometimes he'll arcane shift forwards when he really shouldn't. But let's also remember that another Fnatic AD carry effectively got them knocked out of Worlds for standing too far forwards on a Twitch.
Love you, Reckless. Still miss you to this day. Hope you're doing good for T1. But
T1 I feel Academy.
Like, I don't think it's the players' fault anymore. I feel like it's just Fnatic. Fnatic as a team. It's just... They just have this curse, especially against G2.
Well, enough talking about Fnatic, enough talking about LEC. We are in the NLC, son, and we are ready to get in for game number 2. Garden Gaming wanting to secure their spot in the top 4 of playoffs. Lazy just want to get there. We'll find it out all on the Rift. Any spice coming out at the level 1? We do see a bit of movement, but it does look like it's pretty standard once again.
If I'm honest, if I was on the side of Lazy, I would just 5-man it somewhere and just pray that you can find yourself a kill, find yourself a lead anywhere. Ball? Yeah, just ball. Just be like, hey, I'm better than you. Let's tussle.
You picked the worst time to stop talking there. I was just going to briefly get a hydration break. It didn't work out too great, but we go. And we are in indeed.
It's like those moments in League where you just need to let it set in. Get excited for the game, because we could be all play-by-plays like you, scream all the time, be super excited for every moment. But how are they meant to be that excited if you don't have the down moments? The time to just enjoy a bit of League of Legends, look at the skins. This game's a lot more beautiful than it used to be.
I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers the days of seasons 1 through 3. And yeah, it's a very different Rift to what we remember back then. I do still have a tiny bit of nostalgia when I look at the old Rift, but
you just got to smile.
On gaming, sneaky, getting on in. Loki will be able to steal away the blue buff. Question is, do Lazy and Life know what's going on? I think it's Mitchell and Ermin walk into lane. Look at the Leona though. Sim, has he leveled anything yet? He's going to head for the Leona underneath the turret. Mickle going to be able to get some damage down in the E in Tidebringer. Already forced to use the flash.
No
This is
flash
what we're
onto
talking about.
Varus. Yeah, no flash onto Varus is going to be absolutely huge as Sejuani is able to steal away the Gromp and the blue buff. So I expect her to maybe go for a level 3 and look for the tower dive. The way that she has to do this is by taking these walls, heading towards a red buff, and then looking for the dive. So we'll have to see if Garden Gaming will be setting up for that, as their waves are going to be slow pushing towards the enemy. They need to try and grab 2 before they push it in, but it might just be a little bit more too difficult. But I'm expecting a lot of gameplay towards the bot lane in the next 5 minutes, as you can't lose your flash that early on, and that's because Lazy didn't set up the 5-point correctly. And of course, Milkshake not being able to know where the enemy jungler started.
They do now know, as you can see, Milkshake has crossed sides. Right now, Loki is waiting to walk in. No flash on Tidebringer. He's got to do this properly, though. Cleanse comes through. Ermin is the one taking the damage. Is the one that will die. Loki jumping underneath the turret as well. Sure, you get the first blood, but it's onto your Sejuani, whereas Tidebringer gets the kill and the 1 for 2.
I think that the play that Garden Gaming went for was the correct one. Go for the tower dive, make sure that Tidebringer isn't able to grab that XP. And yes, they did that correctly, but of course, Sejuani dying on the back of that is so detrimental to them, as they aren't able to find themselves, well, trying to get the vision, trying to get the things around them. So of course, Milkshake able to go in towards the enemy jungle, and look at that CS difference. It's already 12 CS up and can even go towards the enemy jungle if he wants to, and contest Loki.
He already has. We are in a split map situation right now, Zathos. Look. Okay, right. For a second, I thought Loki was going to go for another dive, and I was like, bro, you've got camps. Just take them.
Yeah, it's as easy as that.
Nickel might be in some trouble. Sim has found him. Does have flash, does have cleanse. We do also have Loki now coming in. Try and make something happen. The Tidebringer is not taking any damage. Loki gonna drop some damage onto Sim. There is still flash on the Alistair. Gonna headbutt the Leona out and away. Pulverize coming through as well. They're still trying to chase down the Permafrost coming through. Tidebringer not gonna survive long enough. Milkshake, however, making his way in. Mickle is low. Loki is low. Ermin needs to play bodyguard here, or Milkshake will make money. Coming on through, Ermin needs to get out, but he hasn't got a flat. An extra auto for this Viego, and it's all going wrong in the bot lane.
Milkshake is in dreamland. He's able to farm up without having to worry about any of his side laners, then gets to come bot lane for a double kill as well, and this is all on the back of Tidebringer. Playing with Sim, playing this front to back beautifully, because Garden Gaming came in one after another, allowing Varus to stack up his blight, hit themselves with a powerful Q, and just chunk themselves early on. As Varus is a champion that is one of the strongest early game AD carries. So Lazy looking very strong now, and we'll just have to see what Milkshake can do with this lead.
Tidebringer did just briefly step up towards mid lane, but was round up of reward, so Squidly not got all that much to be worried about. But now, perhaps that worry is starting to fade a little bit from the minds of Lazy. We've got a kill on Tidebringer. We've got 2 kills on Milkshake, and 2 kills on Sim, which, to be fair, will help as the game goes on, but obviously not the optimal target for that right now, as they hold on to a 1.2, 1.3k lead.
Yeah, 500 gold lead for the jungler. Milkshakes are going to be very happy with this early game. Flash not available for another 20 seconds on Tidebringer, so they want to make a play. It would be advisable before that, but of course, not in a state. Jungler heading towards the top side instead. So Garden Gaming, it feels like they've kind of fumbled the early game that they had, because it was a really good play of splitting that map, making sure that you can go for those fights, but 2 going wrong now means that yes, you scaled really well into the game. Your bot lane is going to have a lot of difficulties, as Alistar already got a lot of gold into his pockets as mid lane. Has flash.
He's got flash, got spirit rush, not really feeling all that concerned. The charm will pull Ermin out of the Zenith Blade, and yeah, this Ari's just chilling.
Yeah, really perfect. Ultimate was available from Squidly if he wanted to try and make that trade happen. There's no reason for it. Get the priority towards the mid lane. Make sure that you are there for Loki to allow him to grab up these void drops without any contention. Relection's going to be very happy with that in this 1v1 if he's able to start hitting this tower. But take a look towards the bot lane. It's a 2-stack wave down there, and is going to be able to hit this tower for free yet again, and even get this dragon towards themselves as well. So Garden Gaming, yes, they get themselves the void grubs, but they're losing a lot for it.
They committed a lot to do it. They sent Mickle and Ermin towards the top side of the rift, which means that Tidebringer going to be able to even up that CS advantage, going to be able to pick up a couple of plates for himself as well. And as you said, Milkshake will be able to secure the first Drake of the game in trade for those Drakes that Garden Gaming got.
And I have to say, Lazy, for us, kind of trouncing on the comp, they have been playing it phenomenally well. Being able to stay defensively sound towards the bot lane. Alistar was able to hit that level 2 and is pretty strong afterwards. And he's going to get even stronger once that level 6 comes through, as he is going to be so tanky and could be that front line the Tidebringer does need. As 2 tower plates into his pocket, should be pretty close to finishing that first item. And I really want to know if we're going to see a attack damage Tidebringer, or we're going to see more of the lethality side. For me personally, I think attack damage is the way to go, especially when you are against the Renekton, a Leona, and a Sejuani in this game.
I feel like at least in theory, I've not seen much in the way of lethality bars recently. There's a couple of AD carries that you can build lethality on. Jhin comes to mind and you feel okay with it, but for the most part, at least in a competitive sense, lethality carries feel kind of dead.
Thank you, Freak, for that. I really appreciate that. That was not an enjoyable meta for support lanes. I felt like I was the one to get the one shot, as we will be seeing Sim towards the bot lane. Might try and set 4 threes here, and it's really good play yet again from Lazy, being able to have their bot lane stay defensively sound, as yet again Milkshake heading towards the top side and stealing away these counts from Loki, as now the CS difference between these two is a lot. It's 30 CS in only 8 minutes.
Yeah, this Viego's doing numbers and is 800 up over his opposite number now, trying to make his way towards the top side. Uzol has flash, has just TP'd back to lane though, after having spent a good chunk. If he gets jumped on now, it's going to be really rough, especially since Loki is quite a ways away.
They're going to be able to lose 2 stacked waves onto this. As you can see, Strato forcing them to fight.
Oh, there goes Milkshake. Uzol needs to hit the dominance as quickly as possible. Instead, just going to flash away from the Spectral Maw. Doesn't lose too much health, should be able to survive just fine. Strato, of course, is going to be enabled to take a pretty free base off of that. Then trying to keep the wave away from the tower so that Mikkel can pick it up safely, and Loki making his way in, but it seems like Tidebringer not too concerned about that.
Yeah, Wave's going to be able to push into them in about 1 full wave, so should be pretty comfortable with how this is going, especially when Milkshake has his full topside red quadrant to try and go for, so it is going to be CSing up, as I was maybe thinking that Lazy could have had that tower dive earlier on after they found that flash from Renekton, but of course, Renekton having ultimate available, very difficult to try and dive when he's able to CC one of you up and take you with him. So that is going to mean that the second dragon might be getting taken from Garden Gaming pretty soon, as Sejuani is towards the bot side. And yet again, Milkshake up towards the top lane, stealing away camps yet again, and is looking for these void grubs in the next couple minutes. As we're already over to the side of Garden Gaming, so if you can stop that, it's going to look pretty good, especially for your Jacks.
I mean, just look at Milkshake right now. Has a full item completed when nobody else on the Rift does. Sim, the chase in towards Loki. Spectral Maw does not land. While Sejuani is a little bit sad, of course. She is one of the lowest eco junglers in the game. She can still function on very, very little gold.
Well, that's right. She can function, but can she function that well? We'll have to see.
After flash away from the charm, it will end up being 3 grubs for 3, you've got to think, especially since Uzol is now making his way towards the bottom side of the Rift. That said, they might look for something as this done. Lands onto Sim, Solar Flare goes completely wide, however, can they get onto Milkshake? Not in time, he will get out with the Heartbreaker.
And that's just perfect. Brackish, that's actually perfect for them. Yes, they use the RAO. Yes, they use Sim's ult as well to stay safe. But Tidebringer's down towards the bot lane, able to get up another tower plate for him. And even though those ultimates are down, Dragon isn't up for another 50 seconds. We're going to have Alistar ultimate up there. You can try and make it wait a little bit longer, especially with Pieball having that level 9 on Ari, making sure that that Q finishes off that backline instantly. They got this tile that Milkshake can just walk into the enemy jungle and do this.
Completely with impunity as well, as the damage now comes through. If he had the Heartbreaker available there, that would have been just a free kill. Loki is completely denied from walking into his own jungle right now.
So I remember you made this statement of Sejuani is a low economy jungler, she could do fine. Nothing about that play seemed fine for Sejuani. I would be crying if I can't go
you
into
still-
my
You're
jungle.
going to suffer. You can never survive in the 1v1 scenario, but you can still function be useful. Like, Glacial Prison is still very useful. You still have Aftershock, so you're going to, in a team fight scenario, usually tank enough damage to make enough space so that your carry can do something.
It's going to be difficult with Viego having this big of a lead if they try and get themselves one kill, even if it is onto the Sejuani. It might just be lights out as this jungler is doing phenomenal in this early game. As Lazy will be able to pick up their second dragon, looking very good to get themselves that soul point in only another 5 minutes. So most likely will be trying to play towards that, as Void Drops have been all taken 3 and 3 apiece. Nobody's going to be too upset with that, as there's no real major side laning threat on either of these teams, except for maybe the Jax, but he needs 2 or 3 items to really get to that point.
That he does. Right now, Garden Gaming, they are down about 3,000 gold. And as you said, sometimes comps don't matter all that much if you just out-hands them, and it does feel like in this first 13 minutes, Lazy and Life have been the one getting the better punches off.
Yeah, and when I was thinking about Lazy and Life coming into this game, I was looking at what players have really been outperforming or doing superb in this season. And you have to say Tidebringer and Bible have been the 2 names that have come up consistently. Of course, Tidebringer being the 6th most damage overall per minute, clearly shine off with that early game team fight is ultimately will be traded towards there. And of course, Bible as well isn't able to really do much in this early game, but that trial just allows them to do this.
Those numbers, though, they can move them out so very quickly. So little vision there for the side of Garden Gaming. Loki is going to high-key suffer in that situation, while Tidebringer chasing on through, got a fort completed, and will be able to find the solo kill at the bottom lane.
Static shift finish for that as Ash, but it feels just too little too late. Already been taken out. They did have the option for Tidebringer to take that bot lane tower, instead opts to try and get tempo advantage by resetting instead, as this should be the Rift Held going over to the side of Lazy without any contestation. As the mention I want to do before is Pybel, even though he hasn't got a single kill in this game, hasn't got a single death and only has 1 assist, him having priority towards that mid lane is just the way he likes to play, especially with the Viego as well, as he's 5th in the whole league for kill participation, the 1st in the whole season, just really showing what he's done for this team.
Flash in from Erwin, will be able to find the catch onto Sim, but the numbers from Lazy and Life are coming in. Bible has his flash available, will be able to walk on out of there with Foxfires. Garden Gaming, they do at least strike back, taking down the support.
Only get themselves 1 kill on the back of that. First side completed now for Sim. So he's going to be pretty happy when he finds that reset. And that all comes on the back of Loki using that Glacial Prison beforehand to get the ultimate out of Sim to allow them to make these plays. Because of course, Sim has ultimate up. You're not really going to be able to one-shot him, as we do see a bit of a trade towards the top side. Nothing too much, as there's a 3,000 gold lead on the side of Lazy.
Well, not much to speak of right now. As we pass the 15-minute mark, first items are coming through, and what we saw in the bot lane as Mickle, Static Shift doesn't do you all that much good in a extended trade. Played the Ruin King for Tidebringer, definitely feeling like the more impactful of those 2 pickups.
And do you remember the statement I made beforehand of, does Lazy deserve to be in this playoff contention? And so far,
Seems like
the
it.
answer's completely yes. They have been doing it phenomenally well with a clearly much worse draft in the early game. So we'll just have to see if they're able to capitalize off this, because there's plenty of opportunities for Garden Gaming to get back into this, have plenty of pick-off potential. They have the Crystal Arrow, they of course have the Ultimate Command, and of course the Sejuani Ultimate as well. I want them to start living onto Tidebringer again, as he has no flash, has no cleanse available either, or even flash onto Milkshake. Get yourself that 350 gold shutdown onto somebody that's important to your team. I feel like Garden Gaming are straight back into this game.
I'm also kind of surprised at how quiet top lane's been. We talked about Uzol as kind of the person we look towards from Garden Gaming, but as you rightly said, as the Renekton, like, he's fine on a side lane as the fight is going to break out. Flashes burned both ways around. Dominus from Uzol could look to try and chase this one in. Ruthless Predator is available, but trying to chase through might be a little bit too difficult. Loki looking to try and make something happen here. If he can get the stun off, will be able to land it. Can he secure the kill? Trying to get the permafrost stacked. More hits would do it. The autos, the healing will be too much. Loki not going to be able to pick it up. In fact, might just die to the tower. as the tower goes down in mid lane as well. Sim looking to walk in with this one. One tower has already dropped half the health off the tier 2 as well. The Tidebringer now is blocking the damage in onto towards Ermin. Tries to go in and do something. The TP will completely lock him out. Strato now joining the fray. Piebald looking for the side angle. Cleanse not up for Mikkel. Trying to find the damage there though, as Squidly goes in. Might end up being just a trade though. Heartbreaker will secure it. Uzol TPing in into a horrific situation. Milkshake will take down Mikkel as well. Loki gonna try and chase this one down, but look at how swift this Viego is.
Yeah, it's just absolutely just falling apart from Guardian Gaming, as they can't even go towards the enemy jungle. They won't anywhere near that, and they just get absolutely blown up as they made the play towards the top side. They wanted to play for Uzul, the strongest player on their team statistically wise, but they're just not able to make the play happen. They have to force it on towards the Jax. That doesn't even work out. And with a numbers disadvantage, they absolutely capitalize on the side of Lazy for Life, getting that mid lane tower, picking up a double kill on the back of this is Milkshake 6-0, 171 CS, has over 100 CS more than Loki. Flame Horizon.
Just yet, but very close to being Flame Horizon, and we also now see we are on the Infernal Rift. Milkshake at this point in the game has plenty enough damage to take that Drake down solo in an expedient fashion. Now we're looking another 5 minutes time, 23.5 minutes. It's the time that Garden Gaming are going to be forced to fight for the Infernal Soul that, if they lose it, might just be curtains for them.
And how do you even try and make a play before this? You try and make a catch onto Ari, easy as a dash out, even the Heartbreaker onto Milkshake. 2.5 eyes completed for him, and AD carry Tidebringer now has that flash available. Really difficult to do so, but they have to make a play. Renekton, no teleport, no flash, but can get Prowl towards the top side. So the main thing I'm trying to think is, if you have Renekton, get him to have Prowl towards the top side, make sure that Strato has to contest that as he doesn't have teleport either, so you have that first move, make that 5v4 opportunity possible, and just look for a pick. You have the opportunity to do it, you just have to find it.
Stepping up the mid lane right now, trying to find said opportunity. They are continuing to lose things across the map. Stratos just took the tower down in the top lane. In fact, I think he just ulted for wave clear, which is kind of Chad.
I mean, isn't that the coolest thing? Just be like, hey man, I don't like this wave anymore, you're gone. If you're a minion, that is like the biggest compliment you could ever have. Being like, you voted for me? Thank you. At least that's how I would feel.
Making disrespect towards the champions on the side of Guard Gaming. Yeah, I even need this.
Well, I mean, as a minion, you feel as a compliment. As like a champion, you just probably scoff at them and say, take it. It's a bit like when Lux ults the wave. Those minions are like, wow, look at me. I'm the wave to get ulted on this. But we'll have to see if
Piebald get some damage onto Squidly on the side lane. Second item has been completed for the Azir right now. That is a Rabadon's, which is pretty spooky if he can position correctly, although now Strato looking for the angle towards top side. Sim is here, Milkshake is running on up as well. Feels like the prop gonna have a bit of a dad time.
Yeah. A little bit too far up there, trying to be able to push out the way to get ready, but Lazy. Piebald actually gets taken out there, 1-for-1. Pretty good trade from the side of Garden Gaming, able to capitalize on the back of that, especially with Ari having 3 ultimates to their name and even the flash and teleport. So I'm guessing she wanted to keep that up before the dragon coming up in 2 minutes 40.
Well, Squidly's rocking out, feeling pretty good about himself. Loki though has been having a pretty miserable time of it. Long ways away from a second item, although Mikkel trying to do what he can, flashes away from Milkshake. Can they find the chase back onto this extremely fed Viego, force him to flash out? Sim looking to get to the blast cone, will be able to get away. For the most part, Lazy and Life get away from the play unpunished.
But Lazy and Life are kind of getting negligent, it feels, using ultimates willy-nilly, trying to make plays around the map when it just isn't needed, as they get the tower without even having to expend much if they don't want to. But now, no flash available on Milkshake. Tidebringer, yes, he has everything up, but doesn't have that ultimate. They want to make a play earlier on. Even Piebald got taken out, so now this gold lead still very huge at 6,000. It's a lot better than it was before, as Ash's 2 items completed. 2 items, of course, for Squidly as well towards the mid lane. It's not perfect, but they're in a much better position to try and take these fights than they were earlier on, especially this Sejuani. In that last fight when they tried to tower dive her, she was a one-shotable, and that's all because of this champion Sejuani. Like you said before, low economy can still be useful at 1.5 items.
My wonder is, can Loki get enough gold to complete that Warmogs before Sol comes up in a minute 15? 'Cause if so, I think Garden Gaming, there is an argument that they might be able to actually take that fight as the arrow goes wide onto Tidebringer.
Yeah, and they're setting up for this quite well, pushing towards the mid lane, getting priority down towards the spot side as well. Milkshake stealing away as much as possible, as nobody can doubt the Flame Horizon now is now 140 CS, above 100.
Highest CS
as a jungler
in the game.
Yeah, as a jungler, that is huge for his statistics behind the scenes. But 40 seconds towards the dragon, that does mean that the Warmogs is not going to be getting finished, as that's a 3,500. That's massive. That is it 4?
Yeah, nearly 4.5.
That hurts. That must really hurt, as they will try and set up for this 20 seconds till it spawns.
From what I'm seeing, I would say that Diego is definitely hurting.
Yeah, 3 items to his name in 23 minutes. Really feeling good about this. Lazy not actually going straight for it. Instead, trying to opt towards his mid wave. Maybe trying to look for a pick off. Ash Arrow up in 10 seconds. Garden Gaming want to make a play. That Ash Arrow has to hit.
The Tidebringer though, Cleanse is burned after. Chain of Corruption continues to try and get away. Uzol now is going to find himself as the target, stunned up by multiple members. Squidly going to try and help him out as the fight is completely split. Uzol will go down. It's all on Squidly to try and make it happen on the Azir. He's strong enough to do it, but the rest of the fight is falling apart for Garden Gaming. Loki going to make it back underneath the tower, but Milkshake's got nothing to say about that. Squidly going to TP to try and get back to his own tower. Going to get ignored. Going to get disrupted by the charm coming through out of Pieball. And now multiple members just committing because they know Squidly is alone. They know that he is killable. Tidebringer is just put on, you know, just go take in a hit, bro. You'll be fine.
Yeah, going to be able to find that kill pretty easily. Get more gold in towards this Viego's pocket. Very happy with that, as they even get themselves the mid lane tower. As Lazy, they've had all this time and they're feeling pretty lazy about getting that soul. Just being like, hey, we'll grab it after the fight. We'll grab it after that, as they will just be able to pick it up in a second here, as it's now ballooned up to a 9,000 gold lead. And Garden Gaming, you think that was the perfect start to the fight? You're able to hit a formal CC on to Tidebringer, able to pair it as well with Loki's ultimate. But then, of course, because the cleanse comes through, you have nothing else to get on top of it. The Renekton wasn't able to be in a good position, so Garden Gaming losing the front to back fight, as if everything doesn't go pinpoint perfect, there's not really much this team can do.
But hitting the Varus is all well and good, but he's just not the threat anymore.
I mean,
Milkshake is very much the threat. 3.5 items, 25 minutes. He's looking to continue to run this one in. Now going to come in to try and bully Loki even more. Does have some bodyguards in the form of Mikkel and Ermin ready to help out. But it feels like for Lazy in Life, they're like, all they're going to do is just press a couple of buttons and then go Baron.
Yeah, they're just on complete holiday, being like, oh, you want us in the playoffs? Yeah, we'll sort it out. Let's quickly get the victory here, get ourselves into that comfortable position. Garden Gaming haven't really been able to find that engage, except for a few plays where the side of Lazy has just overextended. The only time Garden Gaming has found time is because of that. So we'll be signed the Baron.
Looking in, arrow coming through. The Baron has already dropped his TP coming through. Drago's going to join the play. There's Garden Gaming already falling apart. Uzol tries to go up, but it's far too late. He is isolated and will be dropped. It's a very sad croc. Dies in the river, at least, the place that he loves. Just Sim gonna body block Squidly and Loki from getting back into their base. Wasn't worried at all about losing his life, of course. The game more than likely should be ending here. 10 seconds for Ermin to come back, 20 for Mikkel, 30 for Uzol. As they don't care about your inhibitor turrets, they do not care that they had a couple of bad games. Lazy in Life showing that they fully deserve to be present in the Div 2 playoffs, and that, I believe, could be 5 teams secure. Milkshake going a little bit deep, though. They are perhaps playing a little bit greedy as the game's going late. Squidly going low. The Azir is making things happen. Lazy Life are going to have to run. Pyro dropped. Milkshake going low. Doesn't have the flash available. Pyro going to try and end this one out. Uzul comes out, will be able to do the work. Uzul doing the damage. Milkshake, can he take down the Nexus all by his lonesome? Trying to step forward to do it. Ermin gonna body block. Uzul gonna body block. Loki is now back off the CC. Could be enough. That Fed Viego goes down and the Nexus stands.
What a fight from Garden Gaming. It just felt like decided Lazy just were hold on finishing that Nexus. They're like, guys, it doesn't matter. We're clearly stronger. Let's just not fight them and take it. And that's why Tidebringer died in that fight. That's why Milkshake died in the fight. And the biggest victory they have is that Leona was the one to pick up the bounty onto Milkshake. So very difficult to try and make use of that. Is able to get that second item. And I would love to say that Garden Gaming, they have a chance back in the game, as League of Legends is one of these games where you should have that chance. But Lazy, all they have to do is all come together towards the mid lane and just run it down mid. It's the simple, it's the easy way to do it, but that's just what Lazy needs to do.
They skipped some steps, sure. They did over-aggress, lose that fight, but let's not understate the fact that they are 10,000 gold. They have an Infernal Soul. There's 2.5 minutes until an Elder comes up. I do not expect the game to last that long.
Yeah, but Brackers, you need to think about, if you want to get yourselves into playoffs, yes, you could do this against Garden Gaming, but if you're going against a team like Unique, against Rich Gang, or any of these other top tier teams, if you keep making mistakes like that, when you don't have a lead, it really isn't going to work in your favor. So this is kind of scary that Lazy has made these mistakes, but yes, it probably won't matter this game. I really think it might in the playoffs.
Absolutely, Lazy do need to tighten up on some of their macro plays. Otherwise, those better teams will eat them for breakfast, really. Lazy and Life currently knocking on the last inhibitor turret. Garden Gaming are currently sheltering behind Sundisk, keeping the base safe for a little moment longer. Squidly is at 3 items. This is it, has hit his power point, but it's hard to say that it will be enough when they are this far behind.
Yeah, excitement on the side of Lazy, trying to finish off this game as quickly as possible. Third inhibitor falls. If Garden Gaming got anything in the tank, it has to be now.
Squidly is in. Will find Pyro, goes golden for a moment, but will be traded back almost immediately, and Milkshake can now use this to go forwards. Raptor trying to play distraction on the far side, gets bodied, but look at all of this time he is spending, able to take down Uzol, able to survive. Ermin is left to sit on the fountain into the naughty corner as Lazy and Life took them a little bit longer than they maybe needed to get there, but they will close out the game and they will secure themselves a spot in playoffs.
$12,000 gold lead, not a bad place to end off. Confidence coming through, 30 minutes, like you said, a little bit too long and Lazy in Life, but the main positive I'm having is, before this game even started, we said that Lazy in Life should lose because of the draft. They clearly were outdrafted, but they made up for it because early on, they made a few mistakes, sure, but that mid game went phenomenally well, and that really has to come down to their jungler. Of course, that Viego able to flame Horizon at Sejuani. Sejuani constantly had to look for these plays around his team, while I feel like the jungler was just, Milkshake chilling, having a good time, feeling like he's already in that playoff.
I mean, he had to show off who the better German was on the Rift today, and, well, unfortunately, Loki did not have much of an opportunity to shine. Flame Horizon, and aside of that little oopsie of dying, Milkshake was pretty damn close to a perfect game. Lazy in Life do then lock in a spot in playoffs, which means now 5 of the 6 playoffs spots are locked in. Only one of Fourth Wall, Chaos Esport, and Ruse Esports can now make it. We're going to see if Fourth Wall can do something about their chances in the next game. But before that, we're going to have a little interview with one of the victorious members of Lazy in Life. We'll be back in a few once we set that up.
We're showing stories told. Watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust. Despite how much we lost, you will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. No. What I carry on my shoulders, we're showing stories told. Watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust. Despite how much we lost, you will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. I got fire and passion. Fire and passion.
Welcome back as Zathos has entered the shadow dimension. I'm sure he'll be back in just a moment's time. We are joined by Milkshake after that, frankly, terrifying Viego performance. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Was there some sort of kind of German grudge that you had against Loki that game, or was it just?
Well, considering I didn't know he was German, maybe in the aftermath. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy I won. Even more now that I know that he's German, but going into it, I didn't have that on my mind.
Fair enough. Now, Milkshake, let's get down and dirty. You absolutely trounced the enemy jungler there, Flame Horizoned him and more. And I think that really came down to, of course, them trying to make a play towards the bot side, trying to split the map.
Yes.
And when
yeah.
you saw that that didn't actually work for them and you started getting yourself a CS lead, what was going through your mind, or what were you thinking to carry the game like you did?
Well, so we knew about the map split pretty early. So we called it. They came out of our bot side as Azir went from our blue buff to the mid lane, and the same goes for their bot lane. So we knew what was happening, and we adjusted accordingly. I went to their top side jungle, cleared it out. They went for an ill-advised level 2 dive, which was a bit too late because Varus already hit level 2, so it was very hard to execute. And that gave me a lot of time to just clear the jungle, get a CS lead. And Seju only had 3 camps, so I built up quite a nice lead there. I think I got 1 kill in the early game, and then I called we try to contest everything we can where we're in the same, so even numbers or a number advantage. And it worked out. They pulled 5 men towards Gravis. We got a lot of stuff bot lane. We liked that, so yeah.
Yeah, and this game was absolutely massive for you guys. Of course, you have got yourself locked in towards that playoff contention. So you must be super excited to be in the playoffs now. And is there any team that you're scared of? Is there anything you're excited about going into a couple of weeks' time?
Well, not necessarily, I think. We just play our matches against whoever, and we will see in the playoffs against who we are matched up against. I think we are not hopelessly undermatched against anyone, so we have a shot at every series. So yeah.
Yeah, before that happens, you've got one final game tomorrow against 42, who are currently on a 4-game win streak. How much are you wanting to knock them off that pedestal before the season ends?
Not a lot. I mean, we played against, I think, them pretty early in the split, and it was a stomp from our side, and I was a bit disappointed because they underperformed a lot in that game. So I'm quite happy that they improved throughout the split. And yeah, I hope it will be a better match. Maybe even they crush us, which would be nice to see. So there's a bit of parity here.
Milkshake, sorry, I'm just trying to understand. You're saying that you want to be crushed by another team.
No, I don't want to. Obviously, I want to win, right? And if
Okay,
possible, I want
you're
to take.
scaring me.
Yeah, but
Milkshake, you're meant to be excited. You're meant to be like, you know what? They didn't underperform. We scared them. We are that good as a team. But
I don't
it seems
think
like-
so. I think they just had
I
starting.
like the honesty. I like the honesty. He tells you how it is, Milkshake.
But look,
That's-
I said it in an interview when we were like, I think 4 wins and 2 losses, that we basically don't do anything outside of the match days. So I had hoped that the level would be better than it was at that time. So I'm quite happy to see it improve over the split, and especially for a team which I thought was really bad at the beginning, to improve that much. I think it's very good for the league and for the matches overall. So yeah.
That's the trash talk.
We can definitely say that. 42, looking pretty good towards the top side of the league. We will find out how your game goes tomorrow, of course. Do you want to shout anyone out before we let you go, Milkshake?
Shout out to my team as always. Love them. They play always really good, and sometimes bot lane carries, sometimes mid lane carries, sometimes top lane, sometimes me. Today it was me, so I take it. And shout out to my mother, as always.
Hi, Mom. Good stuff. Thank you for coming on for the interview. We are going to head to another break, but once we come back, it is the battle of the bottom as Ruza Esports and Chaos Esport fight to see who will get themselves locked into relegations. Whoever loses this has no chance left of playoffs, so they've got all to fight for. We'll be back in a few for that.
What I carry on my shoulders will show in stories watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust, despite how much we lost. You will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. What I carry on my shoulders, I'm showing stories told. Watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust, despite how much we lost. You will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. Fire passion. I got fire passion. Fire passion.
Thanks, production, for giving us. You should have seen Zaf trying to get up there just a second ago.
No,
That
it was
actually really
literally
funny.
like this.
Yeah, full crowd. I
Oh.
thank you for the rendition there. Welcome back, everybody. Ready for game number 3 as we're going to throw it straight on into draft as Ruse Esports and Chaos Esport fight for their lives in NLC Division 2. Whoever loses this game, let me reiterate, whoever loses this game is locked out of playoffs. Locked
Not even locked
into
out of
relegation.
playoffs. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to say. And these are my most excited games, all right? The reason for that is with these top of the table teams, they have these all massive detailed plans on. We have to, tower dive at minute 2. This is the way we're going to do it. And there's less mechanical skill as it's all together, Well, games like this, one player pops off, they can save the whole game. So really exciting stuff coming out to see both Chaos against Ruza today as we are straight flying through these picks and bans. Have the Carthus banned away, slightly weird early on, as we're going to have a Maokai.
I mean, it's the Tag Sphinx special.
Yeah.
Just get that out of the way.
Yeah, don't want to give them sight that they are very comfortable in, as I'm quite surprised about this Maokai getting locked in. Of course, can get flexed towards the jungle or the support role and even maybe towards the top lane, but usually doesn't happen, as we will see a response from Ruza. I'm expecting not optimal drafts coming out from these teams, just more comfort when you're in this sort of position, as we will be having that Kai'Sa, Leona locked in. I'm expecting most likely Chaos to pick up their support here as well, put that Maokai towards the jungle, as Maokai doesn't really have to punish time into that Leona, so whenever you W up towards her, she just Qs you, and you just kind of get one shot by that combo.
Yeah, pretty much. Although you can play a good sort of keep out game with the Maokai, you know, be annoying with saplings. I think definitely it's a better situation to take something like the Rel that will provide setup or follow-up engage. But if Taxwig wants to get something done in the early stages of the game on towards the mid lane, we'll see what Kerbax wants to lock in. And of course, could go either way.
Flexibility.
We're going through all the AD carries here. If it is the Lucian, I wouldn't be expecting to see it bot lane. We have mostly been seeing Lucians in mid.
Okay, that is one champion that has been floating around some of the lower leagues that I want them to pick as a counter towards the champion. And you will never guess this. It's an AD carry, and it's a Misfortune. Misfortune counters Lucian mid.
I thought you were going to make me guess there. I was like, oh,
No,
right, okay, sure.
You weren't going to get that.
But no, I mean, MF is, yeah, theoretically really good into the Lucian. She just couldn't play from outside his effective range.
Combos with the Rel or combos with the Leona as well, able to find a very good matchup. So I'm actually a big fan of. Imagine if that Kai'Sa was a Misfortune in this comp, or maybe even that Vi, of course, stops the flexibility from Kai'Sa, who can still go towards that mid lane, as Vi will be locked in from the side of Ruza. Very easy point and click CC, so both teams having a form of that. So when they want to go in, there's no real way of saying no to that, as we will be having the second ban phase come through. Ashe getting taken off the board, very good in towards that Kai'Sa, has the crystal arrow to help with engage opportunities if they need to. As with that Talia getting banned away, I'm expecting Ruza most likely to try and pick up that Ari, as it does get countered very easily by that Talia.
It is something that Anibot could look to work towards. We'll see, however, what they want to choose to look and choose to prioritize. Of course, they do have the wonderful mercy of trying to prioritize one of their side laners.
Yeah, have
We'll see whether it is going to be. I mean, we need to point out as well that Hyper, a champion that in the UK scene, if you've been around for quite a long time, is a prolific Aurelia main, and well, you kind of need a very specific environment for her to work out. So, Anibot is going to be given the Azir to work with this game.
Yeah, very safe towards that mid lane. Is going to be able to scale up very well, and also combos up with Panda's Vi very effectively. Now we'll have to see if Chaos has a weird counter pick towards it. Assassins, of course, always good in towards these AP mages, but it's going to be lacking a lot of AP damage unless they get towards the top side. So I do expect them to go for an AP mid laner instead, and instead of going for the ZDAD version, they're going to go for that Akali, and I'm so excited to see Kerbox on this champion, see what he can pick up there. As now Chaos has to go towards their top laner. Most likely it's going to be someone pretty safe, as that Renekton gets locked in. Quite surprising to be left all the way to B5.
I mean, yeah, Neowis is going to be safe doing that all day long, pretty much. I did say that I was expecting the Lucian to not be in bot lane, but apparently Certified is going to be more than happy to play that one into the Leona Kai'Sa matchup. And also, prolific Aurelia main Hyper is going to be put onto on duty this game. So, Ruza are going super standard for the most part. Although we must say, Vi has fallen off a lot in priority recently, so to see Panda play that champion is a little bit interesting, but of course it does mean that they can very easily lock down a priority target.
Yeah, and the main reason that Vi has gone low in priority is there's just so many champions that could do very well into it. So of course you have the Zyra that can just use her ultimate below her, can't really engage onto that. Try and engage onto a Sejuani. not really going to work, or even these tanky supports more difficult to try to make this work. That's why Vi is better as maybe a second round rotation pick, so you can pick it up later on. However, early on seems like a decent pickup, going to be able to lock up that Lucian if they want to, or even the Akali. They want to try and burst her out with Kai'Sa, who has, of course, the ultimate to dash into the backline, as it really feels like Ruza are playing for the team. And it makes sense with how they like to play, as both their jungler and their support are first in kill participation in the league.
They do like to roll around together. In fact, Ruze, the one thing to really say as the team is that a lot of them have very high kill participation. They do get most of their kills when they are all grouped up, when they're all playing together. Now, does that speak to a weaker lane phase or a more passive lane phase? Potentially. But if they are all on the same page, all working together towards that same goal, they can have some very solid performances. And of course, there's still that spark. We were talking about it. It's do or die for relegation for both these teams.
Yeah, and I feel like Ruza's like that friendship team where they're like, I don't do anything without everybody around me. Of course, not having as many kills as other teams, not as many solo bolos, does mean their kill participation is a lot higher than later on. So it's kind of expected that they have gone for these team fighting comps that want to constantly be in that same circle, as Chaos have gone for something slightly different, still very good at team fighting, but can go for maybe a few more pickoffs if they want to, maybe play for the top lane as they have that Renekton locked in for the team. And it's going to be difficult as both these teams are trying to avoid relegation. So I'm expecting a lot of nerves for a lot of them, as you don't want to be on a roster that is near the bottom of the table, because they still have plenty of opportunities to make this miracle run.
Now they do. I did hear some sounds in my wonderful audio devices that we should be getting onto the Rift very shortly. From the drafts we saw then, do you actually have a distinct leaning or preference coming into this game? If we were to turn nameplates off, for example, like truly holistically look at these drafts, which would you favor?
Well, firstly, I'm really upset that Hyper didn't go for the Irelia top. I wanted some fun in this game. I wanted to see them dashing around. But yeah, I think I have to give it to Uza. I like a big front-to-back team fight comp. Have that Leona, of course, have a better scaling AD carry compared to that Lucian down towards the bot side. As, of course, Azir towards the mid lane. I feel like they can do this, Uza.
Well, we shall now find out as we are on to the Rift for our third game of the day. Do or die. Let me reiterate. Chaos and Ruze. Whoever loses is locked for relegations, as Xnom will spot out all 5 members of Chaos walking into the bot side of the jungle. I'm just going to walk in all together, get a ward down, and walk all the way out together as well. Anibot will spot them as they are leaving. Get a little bit of damage down onto Taxvig for good measure. It does mean, of course, that Panda will be able to walk in, get a ward of his own onto this Maokai's blue buff. So chances are both of these junglers will have pretty good information on where the other's starting.
And that was actually really smart from Anibot, making sure to use their W, of course, their Sad Soul, just to spot that the enemy did actually walk out instead of going for some shenanigans. As we did see Zewell going for that reset, got themselves that sweeper to make sure that Panda isn't spotted out on any of these wards. But of course, getting themselves an even bigger lead as their bot lane wants to get priority down here. So allowing you to walk towards the enemy jungle forces the Kai'Sa and Leona to walk away, allowing you to be in this bush closer, getting those auto attacks quicker, or maybe even finding this engage early on. But yeah, that hope.
Yep, certified. Goes in, gets a light slinger off onto Xnom.
That's
Damage.
such a cool name, Light Slinger.
Yeah, one of my favorite passives in the game. Also, you know, using the project skin, looking very, very frag if I do say so myself. Swizel taking quite a lot of damage there. Stun will come through onto Snella, but what it's really going to do is knock off the after shot.
Rakesh, that could be like the gamer tag. If I was on Xbox and I found out that name, I'm 100% adding like an XX at the front and back. So I'll be like XX Light Slinger, XX. You know, being one of the Halo fans, play be a COD.
Cringy usernames we had when we were younger, like.
Mine was Dragon Go-Go Liam.
See, that's not. I wouldn't say that's that cringy. That's just like. That's just a whole bunch of words.
I mean, Brackish Brit's pretty good.
Look, that's not my. We're talking my OG username when I made my Steam account when I was like 12,
Do we want
12,
to know?
13. It was black steel, but the A was a 4 and the first E was a 3, you know, because that was really cool.
AI, please say AI generated that. Like you went on one of those websites and it said, oh, how do I generate this?
Was AI around in? God, how old was I when I was 12? We're talking like 2007?
100%. You had the ones where it's like, oh, choose a username, and they had like a database and it was like
You mean,
Black
okay, so
Lion.
that's not AI, that's just a random generator. Like, that's not the same thing.
Everything's
Is
AI
that
at this
it?
point to me. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just too young, you know, only 21.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thanks, bud.
probably I like League of Legends. We should talk about that a little bit more instead of our silly,
Yeah, thank God I didn't choose that username.
yeah, Dragon Gogo Liam, absolutely goated. But I prefer Zapdos a bit more now, as this bot lane has been pretty tame early on. Certified and Sniller, even though they were able to get to lane early on, haven't really been able to prioritize this. But Taxfig, nobody's spotted him out just yet. Might be trying to go for a lane gank. Definitely could be a possibility to find a lead there, as Lucian will get outscaled the longer the game goes. But level 3 is a very strong point if you're able to use that passive.
Paxvig is just chilling, waiting to see if somebody steps up too far. Kervax, though, doesn't have that same fortune as Panda. Goes on under the turret. Neowis, however, has roamed out of top lane. Panda has already burned the flash and will be forced down. Kill picked up for the side of Chaos. In fact, Certified able to get one onto Swizzle again. As we were saying, Taxvig was able to find his mark.
Yeah, Xnom not being able to go towards this wave is going to lose a whole wave and a half for this. As he will be trying to go under the tower. Will be able to do so? Yeah, you can't go for that
to do
dive
so
there.
okay, but loses a bit of CS. Plate goes across to Certified as well. I'm not sure if the gold was split at all, but it does mean that this Lucian, with that first kill, is in a very strong early position in this game.
Yeah, plenty of different opportunities or different build paths for this Lucian, but the most important thing is get that damage in and get that damage fast. So we'll have to see what he wants to go for. Sniller is going to be able to have their reset stop, but their AD carry Certified are able to get themselves out in safety, and that's going to be crucial for this team, as the way that Chaos has been able to play is, it feels like Certified is the major one they want to play for and leave this Akali to win later on against the Azir.
Shoutouts to Neowis again, though, because able to get out of top lane and save the play on mid. Because Kerbax went down, chances are, had Neowis not been there, Panda probably could have got out scot-free, and that would have just been a massive feels bad.
That's not even a maybe, that's 100%, and that's the benefit of Renekton and why teams like to first pick it, because it's one of these champions that doesn't really have a major counter until later into the game, so you can use that priority to either dive the enemy top laner by playing around it, or just using that lane priority to make a play towards the mid lane or someone else. And the best person to do that is probably Adam from the NLC, of course, somebody who is known for playing these champions to have that lane priority. They just constantly look towards the mid lane.
It's interesting to see a situation where Certified is left alone bot lane as the Lucian. Like, obviously you can clear waves just fine underneath the turret, although I'm a bit worried of a dive. Sniller will return just to ensure that Certified is doing okay. Obviously he's keeping up pretty well. A nice early pickup of a BF sword is going to certainly help out his damage a lot. As this bot lane continues, Panda is on the correct side of the map to potentially look to do something. We'll see if he wants to try and get on in on this.
Yeah, and the big difficult thing is, you talked about Lucian can't be left alone bot lane. You have to play for them, even though you want to go for the Void Grubs as well. So the best option was to maybe rotate your bot lane towards the mid lane, so then you can have everyone together to contest the Void Grubs. Now you're in a position where you can just get engaged on.
But Sniller just notes Swivel's engaged. Sniller is also pretty damn tanky. Panda, after using the cease and desist onto the Rel, kind of a nothing burger, really. Like, Certified is healthy enough. Sniller doing not so bad for himself, and in the meantime, Taxvig gets those grubs.
Yeah, Panda was just waiting in that dry bush, but it was just too far. So when the owner found that engage, the secondary engage was an instant. So of course, Side of Chaos is able to slowly kite herself backwards, Certified able to deal a lot of damage.
Kerbax
As well.
gonna go in. Can they find the angle here? Empress Divide comes through, but Anibot will drop And Panda is in some trouble as well now. No flash. Tries to use the Vault Breaker out with a flash from Nearwis again, roaming out of the top lane, leaving Hyper. He says, yeah, bro, you can forge some items up there. I'm going to be doing some stuff in the mid lane.
Yeah, Leona dies on the edge of that play as well because they went for the play earlier on. It is only at 300 or 400 HP. So, of course, with that curtain call coming out, Chaos able to finish that kill. Really well played from the side as Nihus. I kind of want to give him MVP so far. Constantly down towards that mid lane as he saved one play earlier on and he was able to find a kill in the secondary play. So constantly around this map and showing that even if you don't find your victory through this top side, making roams like this can really open up the map for your team.
See Taxvig right now. Mostly been killing, has been able to find a couple of great plays though. Nearwis still making great use of movements across the map. Swivel is currently sat towards the mid lane, maybe try and help Anibot out a little bit just to shove this wave in towards Kerbax.
And do you know what makes me really upset? We had this like whole storyline of how Ruza was this team who all played together, everything, you know, we're a team here. But it seems like it's the complete opposite. Chaos seems to be the ones that are playing together, especially Nihus, being the one to always come down. It feels like this team are the ones to want to always be surrounded by each other.
They're certainly acting more coordinated in this early game, at least. We've got 2 minutes until the next Drake comes up. Of course, Ruza were the team to secure that the first time around. The way the bot lane's going right now, at least, Certified very strong. Just going to throw out the culling for some poke damage, and Zweisel will be able to absorb the worst of it.
Yeah, trying to force this wave under. No ultimate available from Zweisel because he died earlier on and lost some XP for that. They really want that to be available if they want to go for their second dragon in 1 minute 20. So you must expect this to be coming up pretty soon, as we will be seeing Leona towards the spot side. 3v3 pushing coming out for both of these. But Ruza still can't engage the Jet. They have to try and make sure that their AD carry is able to grab this CS, as Kaiser still needs to very much scale in towards this game. As with the teleport available into Hyper and not having it available for Nihus in this next fight, maybe there is a possibility where Ruza can have their top laner reset, head towards down the bot lane and TP into the fight and use that to get themselves the second dragon.
Taxvig was trying to sneak in towards the bottom side, but the warding from the side of Ruza has been pretty good. Saplings will sit and watch as Panda comes back on into his side of the rift. In fact, Taxvig now going to link up with Snilla. Spots out Anibot there, but the Emperor will be perfectly safe for the time being, at least. 30 seconds until the Drake comes up, though, in Chaos. They are setting up their priorities pretty well.
Yeah, getting themselves ready for this. Trying to contest it as Nihus yet again, finding that prior towards the top side, running down as fast as possible to join the team as Hypers might go for the reset or TP down here. So I think there's going to be a major dragon as it will allow Ruza to get themselves a pretty substantial lead on the Dragons and look to force those team fights later on by giving up a few now. Compared to Chaos that want to try and stop them in their tracks, try to get a lead themselves if they know their side lane is going to be pretty strong later on. Especially as I don't think anyone can really match this Akali in the 1v1 later.
We shall see as the game continues. We see Chaos have now successfully completed their gaining of priority. The Drake is now up and available. A vast majority of their members, shall I say. Neo has actually gone back towards the top lane. Of course, his job is just to keep Hyper out of the play. There is the attempted TP, but the TP back up for Neo as well. As the engage comes through, Panda trying to find the angle of backline will be able to take down Taxvig, but Anibot struggling towards the backside. Certified getting locked up with all of the CC though. Snilla surviving long enough to take down Panda. The Drake did go down in favor of Ruza here, but Chaos still looking for the chase. Double kill for Certified. They will come out pretty much unscathed.
And it just felt like an item diff. Ruza did have first item completed for their jungler, didn't have first item for their AD carry as well. So I feel like Ruza, just give it up, play for the opposite side of the map. You already have that first dragon, be happy with how it goes. But of course, still able to pick up that second dragon. But when we look at gold, it's 2,000 over to the side of Chaos and 3 kills onto Certified, as this player has really been doing super well for himself, as he had first item completed for that fight, and now with an extra BF sword towards the pocket, if he can find a way onto Exnom, he's going to be easily bursting him out there.
In the meantime, Taxvig taking down that second set of grubs. Also popping out those saplings, you can see. It will be a full 6 grubs to the side of Chaos, which I think are kind of much needed actually in this game. If you look at the Chaos comp, they do not have the best siege.
Yeah, they need to try and use their side laning of the Renekton and the Akali later on to try something, especially the Akali. Both of these two champions not good at taking these towers, but I feel like everybody, once you have 6 grubs of your names, are pretty good at taking these towers. I don't know any champion that won't do too well later on. Of course, we have something like Nazir definitely be better at that. As this early game, Chaos has done a very good job at continuing their leads and staying with this, but I do want to see a little bit more played around Certified. Has that ultimate available? Of course, their jungler pathing down towards the bot side. Maybe look to make a tower dive happen pretty soon.
Either that or just a fight in general, since there's no major objective to fight over right now. Hyper doing a good chunk of damage to Nearmus there, of course, has already picked up the Bramble Vest, so the Renekton healing is kinda completely nullified, or majoritarily nullified.
So the armor boots aren't even finished, and Hyper's winning that 1v1. Because if you take a look at the items, it's not even close towards the top side. News
Just
having
until Nearmus finishes off Blackly, that's when we
Yeah.
start to see it flip back in the Renekton's favour.
It's very much just like back and forth of like, I win now, then you win, then I win, then you win. So of course, Black Cleaver comes through. Hyper's going to be in a position to be kind of difficult in that. We should still be able to tank most of it. But the thing I'm scared of is later on, there will come a point where he won't have the damage to kill that on. So they will be on a timer as Taxvig hasn't been spotted in this bush. But Ruza, I think they know that something's happening.
Yeah, Spidey sense I think came through a little bit, as we also saw Anibot considering a move towards the bottom side of the rift. Celestial opposition just got completed by Snilla there. We'll see how long it is until Zvisel is able to transform that for himself. In fact, Nearwis trying to make something happen towards the bot side. Anibot uses the Emperor's Divide.
Yet again, even though he wasn't able to get anything but the ultimate, that's still something. Every time he's come towards the mid lane, he's either found a kill or found something off the back of that. So with their help, they get prio towards the mid lane and can get set up for this Rift Herald if they want to try and contest it. And I'll be a massive fan of this. Allows them to crack open the map if they want to. You said their sieges are very good, giving themselves the opportunity. And Lucian down here, if he gets too scared, can just use that culling to try and clear that wave. So yet again, Chaos coming up good.
But doing very well right now, still holding on to that roughly 2k advantage. 3 come straight on back into the game. I'm liking these short pauses today.
Yeah.
Big fan.
The thing is, they scare me. My anxiety just starts
Numbers, though.
pumping during it. As Certified does need to be a little bit careful here. As it feels like whenever you see the pause, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have 10 minutes. We're gonna have to wait like 10 minutes. Somebody's
We
gonna
got a
toilet. Somebody's.
time.
Oh, well, I like talking, if you couldn't tell, but like, you'd rather
I
watch
don't
me.
think. Let's be real. If you're a caster, I don't think you don't like talking.
You know what? Fair point.
I feel like that's
You
kind
wouldn't
of a
be here.
prerequisite.
Is that what you have to put in your pamphlet when you get given yours? Like, oh, hey, NLC, I want to cast for you. Do you like talking? Yeah. You know, you're on.
Low barrier to entry, I suppose.
I wish at this point.
Right now, though, as we're looking to the current state of the game, 16 minutes. That gold lead still being held by Cows. They did, of course, pick up the Rift Herald just a moment ago. Panda and Zvisel are going to be jungle support matched up. Hyper and Anibot, however, are also here. Ruza, if they're able to pick up a soul point at this 16-17 minute mark, that would be a great way back into the game for them. They have all of their members here. I think Chaos, if you're stepping in here, you're going to need a TP out from Nearwis. There it is. Dragon's health is dropping lower. Certified now jumping across to join the squad. Call the Orthgod coming through. Emperor's Divide has already been used. Call the Orthgod partly coming through in back. as the damage is now dropping in. Taxbig going low, but the kills are now coming through. Certified on a rampage, Hyper on the run, Anibot trying to get on back to his tower, but the flash, ruthless predator from Neowis. The chase continues as Hyper is being kind of bullied a little bit by Sniller, and all through that, the Drake did not get secured.
Yeah, Exnom had ultimate available, could have maybe found a kill onto Certified on the back of that. Teleport getting used by Anibot, clearly not wanting to give over this objective too easily.
Oh, Sniller got to be a little bit careful here, as Exnom will be able to take that one down. Certified quite low as well, Killer Instinct can't come through from Exnom.
I think they may have just chose this.
Panda is back up. Anibot with the TP as well, taking some damage off of Neowis, and it feels like you might be right. Bruiser just have the better position as Panda is making his way back across. In fact, Taxvig has made the call that he's given it up.
And they may even lose this bot lane tower as well because they just overextended at the end of the play. First of all, Chaos did amazing. They allowed their top laner Nihus to finish off the tower, teleport in, make sure that Anibot was isolated in a 1v1 against Kerbax. They did have enough damage in this run to backfire, and you're like, Loser, you've lost this straight. The game's looking rough for you now, but no, because Chaos overextended, went for too many fights afterwards, and a great kill on the Sniller later on, allows Ruser to walk back in after their deaths, having a tempo advantage, find themselves a dragon, and now they got themselves onto Soul Point. And even though Chaos have played this early game really well, that one dragon has put Chaos in such an awkward position.
Kerbax going to try and get away. Emperor's Divide is back up from Anibot, but he isn't going to use it. Sniller now stepping down. Got to be a little bit careful there. It will just be a ward that is the price to be paid by Chaos as Neowis continues to shove these waves in towards Hyper. That is a very aggressive nature's grasp. Sniller going to come across again to just disincentivize and engage from the side of Bruiser. I don't think they're going to secure the tower here though, so Shelly not getting much value.
Yeah, 3 versus 3 towards the mid lane. They wanted to go for it, but because Anibot had first move, making a 4 versus 3, they just have to give this up. But if they ever have a couple seconds towards the mid lane with those 6 scrubs, they should be able to win out on this 1v1, as Chaos have 2 towers to try and grab towards the mid lane, as both are still up for both of these teams, still have a very good foothold to try and handle this mid lane. As this game, the longer it goes, the harder it is going to get for Chaos, especially with Ruser having really strong team fights, and now with 3 of those dragons towards their name, it kind of forces Chaos to fight in the next 3 minutes.
Well, speaking of, Taxvig looking for the angle on towards Anibot will force out the Emperor's Divide, which will then allow Kerback to push this wave in and secure that turret. But in the meantime, full send onto Certified, and the Lucian, all alone in the mid lane, has nothing to say about it.
Yeah, and that shutdown will be going over towards the enemy team, and it's just difficult because when you play Lucian, you want to constantly be on the front, constantly want to be aggressive, but of course, as an AD carry, you are very squishy. People can take you out if you don't have the team with you, and it gives Ruser the opportunity to walk towards the mid lane and look for the tower they want to. They are fortunately not going to, even though they had the possibility as Kerbax was a little bit far away to try and clear this out. And Ruser are slowly turning this game into their favor, using their point-and-click ultimate like they need to find themselves in it.
And you're talking about how Chaos felt like the ones who were playing as a team better, but as the minutes have worn on, it does feel like that Ruser identity is starting to shine through. We see good coordination between Panda and Zweisel to make that play happen. We see good coordination across the board just to know what Chaos are up to and roughly how to exploit that elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, Panda been to do with 4 out of the 5 kills. The team has had 3 kills for the Leona out of the 5. So whenever there's a play happening, they are constantly around it. And now that the game has got longer on, you expect them to have even better kill participation here. As yet again, Rudes again push towards this mid lane, and Chaos, they need to just keep pushing. Keep going for these outplays and looking to see if you can do it. As Kerbax, with those 1.5 fights completed, is going to start feeling pretty good against this Azir, as they have 1.5 minutes to try and find a pick off before this fight.
The question I have though is, how is Kerbax going to fare in these later game team fights? Because Akali needs to navigate her way around a cease and desist, an Emperor's Divide, call the Forge God, all of the Leona CC, feels like she's just gonna have a hard time just as a champion in general.
Completely. She needs to try and isolate somebody on the enemy team. And the reason that Chaos was able to win that fight for that third dragon, even though they didn't grab it, is because Annie Bot was isolated by Kerback. So yes, with these 2 eyes completed, if they can do that again, Akali could feel pretty good. Otherwise, with a front-to-back team fight, Ruza will be winning out. So we will have to look if Annie Bot is going to miss position to give Kerback that opportunity. There's only 50 seconds until this next dragon. You can already see Piper pushing out this top wave. Annie Bot staying pretty safe towards bot lane. Going to push it out when it comes to him. And everybody resetting in time to get their items ready. As Kaiser has 2.5 to their name. Ozir most likely going to be able to finish off that second item as well. As everybody's just looking to be strong.
Items have indeed been secured, but let's look at that bot side river for a second, because that is lit up extremely blue. We've got control wards for days, we've got saplings for days. There is one lonely trinket ghost horror ward, or a blue trinket rather. Well, you can't TP to that, so Hyper kind of struggling to get involved in this play if it starts soon.
Yes, Nilla is actually heading towards the bot side to make sure that he can help Nihus and clear out his vision, which actually gives Ruza a possibility to maybe head towards this dragon if they want to gain priority, as Taxvig has stacks it up, but no one's there with him.
They are just going to try and do it off vision. It feels like, it seems like Ruza just aren't aware of it.
Yeah, they have no idea, because their main plan was, okay, top lane wins out on the 1v1, let him be in that position. It's just too little too late.
No, they still don't know. They still don't know, as the Chemicrit break will be secured by Chaos, stall denied, and Ruza, they don't try and go for the Baron start to try and pull Chaos away. Instead, Nature's Grasp going to come through and chase down Zilla. Happy man Magnum Storm, that is absolutely beautiful. Zlyzol, Brock's extra already gone. Panda has fallen, and you were talking about the Baron, almost talking about the Baron. Anibot trying to find Kerback's there. He'll go into the Twilight Shroud. Will burn down eventually, but Anibot is way too far away from this play to do anything if Chaos want to start up the Baron.
Yeah, they just have to start the Baron, and this is just a huge blunder for Ruza, as they've just given themselves the opportunity to lose this game if this Baron goes over. As they still have Anibot and Hyper, they need to try and fight for this.
Well, the Force God coming across here right now. Baron health dropping around 2,000. Anibot is just going to be able to take down Snow. They will be able to secure the Baron, but can they get out? Taxvig now getting locked up by all of that on CC. It looks like Taxvig is going to be left to die here. Going to try and get out with the... I've forgotten the name. What is the name of that rune?
The rune of runing.
The Nimbus Cloak will be enough after flashing away for Taxvig to survive. The Phase Rush doesn't get procced, or at least was procced at a time where you couldn't use it fully effectively. House, they get away with the Baron. They continue to hold a gold advantage, but they haven't advanced it in the past 15 minutes.
And I think this is a perfect example of why both of these teams are 4-8 and 3-9, because they are so close to making the perfect play. But they make a slight mistake. Chaos overextend for the fight there, so team members die, which means that the Baron's so much harder to use. Of course, earlier on, Ruza opted to have Prior over the Baron, trying to force the enemy team to look to try and see if they started it, but never were able to start it up or do anything with it, allowing Ruza to steal away that dragon for free. There's so many different things that both of these teams are supposed to get in right, but just haven't been able to do so. So if they get the victory here, they definitely need to sharpen a few things they ever want to get themselves in towards those playoff spots, as Baron is available from the Chaos side for another minute and a half, and they haven't done anything with it. They just pushed out the waves and just trying to farm themselves up. Yes, they have a 2,500 gold, but you would at least expect them to head towards the mid lane together as they are now to try and get a tower, at least something from this Baron.
They are doing it, but it's a little bit late, and I think Ruza don't really care about a tier 1 turret on mid lane. None of the tier 2s have gone down just yet, and this is kind of the problem that we were talking about earlier. This Chaos composition is really bad at siege. They kind of have to get a team fight first.
It's not even that it was bad at Cesium. They just weren't playing around the race correctly, because of course you want to sync them up. You want to have one person top, one person bot, and then 3 people towards the mid lane. A simple 1-3-1. But it just took them too long to get themselves online, allowing Ruza to clear out these waves. And even though their mid lane tower fell, they're kind of coming back again with that Azir having that tower available. So if Chaos want to try and finish off or get themselves in a better position, they still have to fight for another dragon in 1 minute 30.
Snow and Taxvig kind of playing bodyguard to Kerbax in the top lane. All of those bodies just to make sure that the Akali is safe. Meanwhile though, Orn ultimate coming across. It will catch on to TP is coming out. Certified as being caught and obliterated, however, on the opposite side. Kerbax is going to look to try and make things happen. There's a perfect execution now coming through. Can he find it? The Kaiser will drop. The fight could now be a fairly front-to-back affair. Taxvig dropping low. Anibot will be able to secure that kill. The chase down is still muchly in the favor of Chaos. Anibot will be able to get away. Hyper has to flash. Chaos will relent for now. Again, a 3 for 2 with Chaos advantage. Could have been very bad though.
Yeah, Ruza were the ones to go for the engage. They wanted to take the fight as they one-shotted Certified, but Exnom dying or practically dying in that fight, only being 200 HP up, and Anibot towards the top side took the whole fight to get in there. So they were practically 4 versus 5 with one of their main carries out of it. So of course Ruza are going to be losing that, and now it gives Chaos a position to have that first move, get themselves prepared for this dragon by having the numbers advantage, as I do expect them to be able to win out on this. But we will have to see, as both of these teams looking for another fight. We won't have any bots ultimate up, but the rest should be.
5 seconds until this next chem check. Drake spawns onto the Rift. Vision inclusive, shall we say. Kerbax has a potentially very good flank angle. Those are so spectacular. All of the members come in, give damage from all sides. It's fish in a barrel as Ruza are getting belted. It's a double kill for Kerbax. Makes that a triple as the chase continues to come through. Exnom will drop as well. That is a quadra. Anibot has made it out and away towards the bottom side. No Penta today, but Chaos will take another fantastic fight off of another stellar Magnet Storm from Snilla.
Yes, and is able to find 2 amazing Magnet Storms back to back, really showing why he is one of the best supports in the league, why his team is able to be so strong being at this 4-8 threshold. 6,000 gold up, and he has done a phenomenal job to help the team with it. With that second dragon going over, they have another 5 minutes to scale up to allow themselves to get in towards this late game, as Chaos were kind of herd like fish. Like you said, they weren't having fire in mid lane, they weren't having Kyle over this river, so they had to fight either towards the dragon or away from the dragon. So of course they try and fight towards it, but with that amazing Chaos Storm hitting 4 men of the enemy team, they were able to win that victory. And Chaos should be winning these fights later on, but they keep finding these picks.
Right now, with those second pickup of the Chemtech Drake, we'll look towards the Baron now. 30 seconds, coming back up very, very shortly. Let's have a look and see what we're dealing with. No flash on Neowis, no flash on Taxvig. In fact, there are no flashes at all on Chaos. Panda still has his, Anibot still has his. So to start it up as Chaos would be a bit of an ask.
There are double teleports as well on the side of Ruza compared to 0 for the Chaos roster, so I'm expecting them to make a play even now around the Baron or go for the reset, allow Akali to clear out this wave, but then make a play afterwards. As Akali's TP will be up in the next 30 seconds, so I expect them to keep it a little bit calm until then, try and clear out the vision, as there still is a red ward on the side of Ruza around this Baron pits. They will be able to spot out exactly what Chaos is doing. As Ruza, they only have 2 more opportunities to finish off this next dragon to get themselves in the position to win out on these team fights, but it's seeming so difficult to do so. As a Panda, that was very scary.
Looks for an angle, but won't be able to find a satisfactory cease and desist angle. Instead, they will force Chaos into the middle lane. They look to continue to contest for the Vision. Neowis pushing out the top lane. The Renekton all on his lonesome though. Ruza, it would be a relatively easy thing to step up and deal with this Renekton. That's why we see Chaos chasing them into their jungle. They do not want their Renekton to drop down. He is 307 right now and has been a large proponent of their wins.
Yeah, massive component to their wins as the Ornn items have been coming through. Level 17 for Hyper has been able to do every single item. As Nihu's going to be okay towards the top lane as Anibot hit the position where he has 3 items, Ornn item upgraded as well. This Azir packs a punch.
Oh yes, and with the upgraded Nash's Tooth, especially, the extra attack speed it gives is going to be very, very nasty. You've got to remember now though, look at those items. Ornaments completely distributed, hyper level 17. So you can effectively count this golden lead as moot. There's an extra 1,000 gold worth of stats on each of those upgraded items. So that's why this game has felt so close at us, or at least at this point, it effectively is, because the golden numbers don't tell you that. But
yeah, Chaos are only 1,000 gold up. If you add the Ornn item on top, only 1,000 gold up. So really not as much as you expecting as Renekton will have first push towards the bot lane. Ruza trying to force out that teleport by starting up this bound. They kind of maybe start the fight here. They're going to keep it in bar. Yeah, they're going to be starting out as DP comes through.
Behind, actually going down on Spiral, the ultimate will come across. Not finding the target though, Certified just going to melt through his rival health bar. However, as we thought, another great Magnet Storm allows Neowis to join the play. The damage is now coming through as Certified is getting stuck right in. 2 kills going down, a third one will come through. Anibot is able to take it down, however, this Azir at level 17 is becoming too much to deal with. Neowis on the run as he is getting chased down by this Azir Taxfig. Also getting chased by Hyper. He will be able to slink on back into the jungle. Ends up being a 3 for 3, but definitely Ruza looking the better for it.
Yeah, we're starting to see the outscaling coming through. Anibot having nobody on top of him. They had the opportunity to completely scrap going for Zweewell or Panda and just gone to Anibot. But because they didn't, Anibot just slowly kiting away, dealing the damage over time. And because of the amount of gold he has into his pocket and into his items, of course, he's able to deal enough damage, allow them to win that team fight. And with Dragon Spawn in the next 45 seconds, Brackish, we have another fight.
It is fights all the way down, it feels like, Zaf. Ruzak still right on the precipice of completing a Chemtech Soul, which, let's be real, would, I think, potentially make the difference in these fights. That extra 10% damage dealt and reduction in damage taken in a fight that fights that have consistently been as close as this might just be that little incremental advantage that Ruza need to turn the corner and take this game back into their hands.
Yeah, and you're completely correct about that. They need to try and grab this. If they grab it up, it's basically uncontested. They win this fight. Remember, Snilla having
Baron's still up.
Yeah, Ruza just able to walk in.
They're looking to try and burst down Taxfig here. Remember, this is not a crowd fight. Isn't actually all that tanky. Taking a lot of damage, will take things down here, but the damage is coming back across. Anibot, though, is completely unassailed. Exdom will drop. Kerbax slinking back into the shadows. The tanky members of Chaos are extremely low. Neowis being chased down here. The Brock doing okay for himself, though. Snilla and Certified poking their heads in. Make sure that this Drake does not go down uncontested, and Kerbax has completed a reset. Will come back with the power pull. They're looking for the angle. We might find Anibot here. He goes golden from a moment, but will it matter? Certified able to take down Panda. Neowis able to take down Anibot, and Hyper is left all alone in the jungle. Chaos will be able to secure another Drake, and the ace, the inhibitor in the mid lane, shall drop as well.
Yeah, Ruza having their bot lane coming up means that Chaos most likely can't find the end here. But Snilla having a phenomenal game. Hextech flashing over the wall, finding the W onto Anibot, CCing him up and allowing the team to burst him out. Every single fight, 3-4 man ultimates, finding the CC on those major components as
Even with the Void Seeker, it's a massive shutdown. Snilla looking for the angle in. Can they find the damage though? Oh, perfect execution. A Black might save you. Can they get the damage though, Snilla? will be able to get pulled back in. Kerback's goal is golden, long enough to survive. Zweisel, I'm afraid you're a Leona. You're not going to do enough damage to kill that because you're not using the patented brackish build. Shall we say that?
What's the patented
Have you not heard
brackish
this?
build?
Have
No,
you not
not at
heard
all.
of the, so I play Leona everywhere but everywhere but bot lane. I play press the attack with
Can
Titanic Hydra.
we have a moment of silence for my brain after hearing that?
PTA Leona with Titanic Hydra. It does a shocking amount of damage.
Brackish, I'm about to cry.
I mean, if this game hadn't gotten you like, close enough to that, then I'd I don't know.
I mean, some of the macro decisions, abysmal, by the way, from both these teams. They are, like I say, so close. They're so close. But just the final strands to be together. And that's the reason why it's kind of devolved down to whoever wins the team fight most likely wins the game. The reason I say most likely is if they did set up the waves properly. After one fight, this game should be over. It's just 3-3 apiece for these dragons. Baron has just started as we go again.
Damage now coming through. Kerbax has been spotted on his potential flank angle. And is looking for the angle in. Stella again finds the flank angle. When the fourth one comes through, Chaos will be able to secure the Baron. And Ruzar are on the run. Kerbax doesn't need to go in. They don't need to look for the fight here. A Baron again secured. The gold leaf for Chaos has started to grow. It is up to now 8,000 gold. And they are going to start now properly using this Baron to try and knock on the remaining pieces of gold available to them. The last tower on the rift will now, or the last tower outside the base will now drop in that tier 2 top lane. It's now about breaking top and bottom inhibitors. It's starting to feel like one more fight would end this game, Zaf.
I am gobsmacked by how well Sniller is playing.
Man's on it.
He is not wanting to lose. He's like, hey guys, I get we're not doing the best right now, but we cannot lose because I'm getting O after O after O. Dragging up in 2 minutes 20 is going to be soul point for one of these teams when it comes up. It is going to be that Hextech soul, even if you see that mounted sign in your top left-hand corner, and they will be opting towards this bot lane tower. There's no shenanigans going on over 104, just 5 people bot lane, push out the mid lane when you need to, and just play around this vision. As you know, when Sniller is able to find that flanking gauge, I think they can do it. We'll have to see if Chaos is able to finish off the game with this ban and with the next dragon.
So this dropped by Anibot to delay the push coming out from Chaos here. We see Xnom put into the mid lane to deal with the wave that Kerbax is shepherding into him. But yeah, right now, the main thing, Sunlight has to flash away. In fact, Anibot has to flash also as the fight starts. It is not clean by any means. One of the main damage dealers is completely locked out of the fight. Taxby flashing to try and get away. Nearwis now looking to play bodyguard. As Chaos are far too low to continue fighting. I think Anibot was hoping to get a sweep in there, but he wasn't able to find Certified after the flash.
Yeah, doesn't have that Zhonya's available, so can't go for those big 1v9 plays in towards the backlines. He is going to die for that. And of course, being the main damage source of your team, you aren't able to do that. As both of these teams, yet again, completely even. 50 seconds until sell point for one of them. This bot lane tower had survived another day. Of course, you need 2 inhibitors to really have priority to try and get somebody on the side lane. The Chaos is using everything to finish off those first items. As Azir, yet again, not having that Zhonya's available. Akali does have it towards themselves. Just
Look at Certified, he's got a Seekers.
can you blame him?
I just love, I like that from in a kind of morbid sense of, you know, the stasis item is so good that an AD carry that I think only has 1 AP scaling on his kit, on his W.
He has the damage. He just needs that survivability, especially when Kai's come into the back line. Vi as well, even maybe an Azir with a Shurima shuffle. Sniller yet again looking for this flank. TPUs.
Kerbax looking. There is a bit of a lockdown coming through. Nearest is taking a lot of damage. Hyper able to get the locker, but Ekdom not able to do the damage. The fight so split. Zweisel and Panda are up towards the backside. Kerbax will be able to shut down this fight eventually. The fight is again so very split. with just a fraction of his health left, will survive. Certified is burning, but will not drop. Sniller does die, but only Hyper is left to hold vigil for Ruzer, and it does feel like the bell is ringing for them. House breaking on into the base. Hyper will fall, another ace, and after 42 minutes, House will claim their win, and they will force Bruiser into relegations. They're not out the woods yet, though. They still have another game to play.
And breathe. What?
No kidding.
Okay, that should have been the last game. I'm.
You do the outro. I'm sitting down.
No, I mean, okay. Where do we even begin to start? First of all, Sniller. I don't care what anyone says. He's the MVP. Sure,
absolutely.
Sure, everybody else might disagree.
Those
No, you
engages
can't
were
disagree.
nutty.
But do you know the funniest thing? We talked about the Seeker's Arm Guard, and that was the difference between Chaos winning and Chaos not. Because remember, Azir didn't have it, Lucian did. So what happened in that fight was when Lucian found that engage, he went onto, of course, the AD carry of the Kai'Sa, Zhonya's. Of course, Kai'Sa tries to hit a Q, Lucian Zhonya's, and then Lucian, of course, kills the AD carry. Later on, Azir goes for the 1v1 against Lucian, isn't able to win it. Do you know why? Doesn't have that Zhonya's available. So that small, minute detail of maybe getting a bit more CS in lane, maybe playing the team fight slightly differently, could have got Ruza that victory, could have got themselves in this non-relegation battle. But the problem was, it wasn't their day. And this all came down to them not getting that sole point. Remember, they had the first 3 dragons to their name. The first dragon they lost, we're like, okay, it's 1 dragon. We can deal with that. Second dragon goes over, bit more difficult. Third dragon, you start getting scared. And of course, the 4th dragon didn't even need to get taken. And remember, they had Ornn. They outscaled the Chaos. What a phenomenal play.
Fantastically done by them. We are going to throw it to a very quick break. We will be back in a moment for an interview with Kerbax. Don't go anywhere.
Showing stories told, watch the fire burn away the cold. I'm rising from the dust, despite how much we lost. You will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. string. You will not take away my strength. I got fire and passion.
Welcome back, everybody. As joining us from the Shadow Realm of not having a camera, we have Kerbax coming on in from Team Chaos. First up, congrats on the win, of course. Must be a little bit of a weight off your shoulders. You know, you're not being forced into relegations just yet.
Hello everyone. I mean, it was an amazing game. We're still in a race for playoffs, so can't wait for next game. And this one was a hard one. It felt easier at the start, but at the end, oof, was a bit scary.
Yeah, plenty of things went right and plenty of things went wrong. Fortunately, enough things did go right for that. Now, it mostly came down to your guys' team fighting, because remember, you guys gave up those 3 dragons early on. And of course, you got yourselves back into that game. And the big thing I wanted to talk about is this Akali pick you had. Usually Azir known for being better in these team fights than the Akali, but you kept constantly trying to make sure that Anibot couldn't play the fight by trying to isolate him in the 1v1s. Was that the main goal for you in these team fights, or was it something else?
A goal for my teamfights, like from the moment I picked it, I knew that I cannot play like front to back because it's really hard. So I always tried to position myself where they don't know where I am, and we always kept having like wards behind them, so I can look for TP. And every fight, Sniller would find an amazing engage, and then I'm like just from behind on Kaisa and Azir from the start, and there is just nothing he can do. It's really hard for him to play.
We
Okay,
literally said it in the post game that Snella was playing out of his mind that game. The amount of engages, magnet storms that he found were, oh boy,
They're amazing.
Yeah,
If I had to
fantastic
give your
work.
team one advice, put Sniller on that champion every game if you can. Pick or ban it. Have it first on blue side if you need to, because him on that champion feels like a 1v9 machine. But of course, you guys are, as a collective team, you guys, of course, wanted to try and not get into that relegation battle. RB going against Rich Gang. And today, you had very good moments and very bad moments. But what do you think is the biggest thing you need to work on for that game coming up?
I think our early to mid game is where we might struggle a bit, and laning phase. But after that, our team fights and late game is really good. But I think that's the issue because I'm new to the team, so we needed to change the style how we play. But I think we're improving quite well. And for tomorrow, if we win, can't wait for if we get to playoffs, because I think playoffs is gonna be insane.
Yeah, the miracle run.
Yeah, will be
Gonna have to leave
amazing.
it all on the Rift then against Rich Gang. Obviously, they are right up in the top right now, already locked into top 4. Obviously, they're fighting for top 2 as well. Do you have any not strategies in mind, but do you have any specific like mental things you're going to do to prepare for that game, or are you just log in, lock up, and play like your life depends on it?
Just
I mean,
Led.
I think they will need a bit of a mental after this game, because this one, tomorrow some bans should need to be taken, like Akali maybe, maybe Rel, but we'll see. I don't want to kick them out from top 2, but sorry to break it to them, but yeah, might happen.
We'll see tomorrow if that is the case. Thank you, Kovacs, for coming for the interview. Do you want to shout out anybody before we let you go?
A shout out to my whole team and to my my friend Clowny from Italy, and that's it.
Fantastic. I'm going to do a shout out though, because I've seen her in the chat. Hi, Certified's mum. Thanks for supporting your son. We love supportive parents in esports. So shout out to you. You're awesome. Thank you again, Kerbax, for coming for the interview. We are going to throw it to a break before our final game of the day. Rich Gang going up against Fourth Wall. And if Fourth Wall win, all of this will have been for naught. That will be the final lock-in, I believe.
Yeah.
Let me double check. I think so. If Fourth Wall win this game, then all of Cow's efforts will be for naught, and they'll take playoffs away.
It's
We'll
fine.
find out if that's the case, though, after this break.
Yep.
What I carry on my shoulders, I'm showing stories told. Watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust, despite how much we lost. You will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. What I carry on my shoulders, I'm showing stories told. Watch the fire burn away the cold. I am rising from the dust, despite how much we lost. You will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. I got fire and passion. Fire and passion. stories told. Watch the fire burn away the cold. I'm rising from the dust. Despite how much we lost, you will not take away my strength. You will not take away my strength. No.
Welcome back, and from what I'm being told, we are already straight on into draft, so let's get right in. Rich Gang versus Fourth Wall. If Rich Gang win this, they guarantee a top 2 spot going into playoffs. If Fourth Wall win, they lock themselves into playoffs thanks to a favourable head-to-head against Chaos Esport, knocking them down into relegation. So, if this game goes Fourth Wall's way, they completely lock in playoffs. Tomorrow's games do not matter at all apart from playoff seeding.
Yeah, Rich Gang, of course, if they win here, get themselves into that first seed position. If they win today and tomorrow, of course, they'll get themselves so it's a plenty to play for this game. It was plenty to get to the first position as we get ourselves instantly into this draft and pick the Leona. Still up and available for both these teams. Somebody that is very high priority. Sejuani taken off the bat as well. Still have Desira and Brand available. Seems like a lot of these teams have kind of not really enjoyed Zyra as much, put a lot more priority on towards that Brand. So we will have to see if Fourth Wall want to first pick it here or have different options. Ezreal, pretty good flex pick, is able to go to both the mid and towards that AD position.
Yeah, Vardags or Kurosh should both be, wanted rather, should be rather comfortable with that champion. Of course, Vardags, a champion with a long and storied history in Europe, all the way back 2014, played for Unicorns of Love in the UULCS.
Yeah, been around the place, been around the sport.
Oh, yeah, just a bit. Yeah, been around for a
NLC
fair long while.
We'll be there soon enough with all these players, right? We're practically, just the LEC waiting team. They'll pick us up soon enough. At least that's the dream. So Leona and Kaiser are going to instantly get locked in by the side of Rich Gang, seeming like they are very much wanted to do this on the red side. They did it last game, this game as well, as we will actually see the Xing Zhao locked in against it. Of course, it has that ultimate to block a lot of damage from people outside of it. Very good into champions like Azir and other things like that. As Fourth Wall now need to decide if they want to pick up their support. Of course, they will do that. Braum, amazing pair up with the Ezreal, and very good into that Leona, of course. Very good back to front so far for Fourth Wall.
It's starting out nicely for Fourth Wall. We'll see what Rich Gang want to finish off their first rotation with. Obviously, they could lock in a jungle here, something that works nicely into the Xing Zhao. I think makes a lot of sense while we're still looking in, because a lot more jungle bans could make things difficult.
Oh,
scratch that. We're going to lock in a Z.
Huh? Okay, so the reason you lock in Z R3 is because you could ban away his big counter. Sure, you could do that, but you ban the Rumble, which doesn't go mid lane. It's hard to say, because yes, it can do well against an AD carry, but it just feels way too early. No, you pick this like maybe R4, maybe R5. It feels like an R5 pick, something to spice it up, but we'll just have to see.
You know what this feels like to me? I feel like because of how early it was picked, this might be a bit of slice spice.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, it must be flexible. No way you're picking the Z this early on and you don't have flex potential for it. Nothing like that will make sense to me, as we are going to get through the second ban phase. So we will see if Fourth Wall are as rattled as us by how long it takes them to decide what their bans are going to be. While Rich Gang, pretty comfortable, going to ban away that Rumble and that on towards the top side, making me feel like Rich Gang don't want the enemy team to have easy forms of engage, as Ornn is going to be the most comfortable one for that. Malphite still a possibility. They want to go for that opportunity, as Cassante, of course, getting banned off the bat. We'll have to see if Camille is going to be one of the top laners as well, or if they're instead going to ban maybe an AD carry or maybe even a jungler here.
I feel like banning an AD carry doesn't make a great deal of sense. I say that, but the Vayne top going to be taken away from typical. Anything other than a typical pick. Meanwhile, though, Malphite of course, we'd have to contend with this hybrid Kaiser that we've seen a lot. Mirai
So-
and Kansha have been.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to explain that, like, the reason that I think an AD carry ban could have come through, because you said about maybe Slice picking up the Zed, which means that Kaiser could be going mid lane, which means maybe an AD carry.
I mean,
there's
we've got the
still a-
Gragas
there's
now that
slot
can
for
go
it.
top or mid.
Rich Gang, what are you doing? Like, you guys are a sensational team, and I'm excited to see where this is going, but just stressing me out. I don't know what's going on at this point, as we are going to be seeing an Olaf hover on the opposite side. Hopefully, it isn't going to get picked in.
Rich Gang are already locked into top 4, so perhaps they're just having a little bit more of a experimental time as they get on into playoffs. Because if they lose a game, it doesn't really matter all that much. In fact, if they lose, that puts them on equal footing with both Unique and 42. So there'll still be a big brawl for who gets the top spot. And looking at the strength of schedule going into tomorrow, we'll look at the games that we can see. Well, we've got Fourth Wall are playing, 42 are playing against Fourth Wall. So, you know, we don't know how difficult that will be for them. Rich Gang are playing against Chaos. Also, shouldn't be the most difficult game on paper for them. Unique are going against Lazy in Life, who are a big curveball of a team. It's kind of hard to count them out.
I don't know what stressed me out, watching the last game or watching this draft unfold, because at the start, I'm loving it. Ezreal first pick, we have a Kai'Sa, we have a Leona, Braum, Xingzao, and then we get a Zed. Both of these teams, who even wants AP? Who wants AP?
You got Gragas. Typical is going to be going, let's be real, Gragas is going for the full AP.
He has
Yes,
to.
Fourth Wall side have... In fact, does he? Looking at Fourth Wall, they've got so much physical damage that maybe Typical is better off going tank Gragas here, just to provide frontline. And then Mirai can go for this hybrid Kai'Sa, and it does enough magic damage that you can't just build armor and laugh.
So, what I'm doing right now is looking if he's ever had a said jungle game before.
Slice is an interesting player. He has played a lot of different things, and I feel like Zed is one of those weird picks that you wouldn't really pull out unless you had just that little bit of experience on it. Also, it's really interesting because the dynamic of the matchup against Xingzao, you can absolutely body the matchup in theory, but conversely, if you use your shadow carelessly, then what you plan to be this sort of giga brain, oh, I'm going to bounce around him, he's not going to be able to hit me, he's going to be like, all right, bet, I'm going to do wind becomes lightning on your shadow, and you're just going to perish.
Yeah, so I did take a look at his stat line. Slice has played it in the last 2 Ultra Liga seasons that he played, of course, before NLC Division 2. 1 game of Z on both splits, and now he has his game of Z for NLC Division 2. So I feel like it's the right and passion.
Just give me one game of Z,
Just exactly one game. And of course, against Xingzao, you talked about it before, very good matchup for him, because what does Xingzao's ultimate do? If you're standing this far away from him, you don't deal damage, and this far, you do. So, of course, Zed being somebody who likes Scalpel, close and personal, is able to use that Death's Mark to try and find the kill. And I'm not sure what I'm more excited for, the last couple team fights in the last game, or this one. Because we have an Olaf top, we have a Yone mid lane versus a Zed. This is what League was meant to be.
This is a game 4 that, as a play-by-play caster, I look within and go, how much energy do you have left, Brack? How much?
It's the last game.
How much hype can I put towards this game? Because this feels like somebody's making an offering to Khorne here, like blood for the blood god.
I absolutely love that. I get what that means. Warhammer, best thing to ever exist in this world. I do believe we will be heading into game.
Time.
Oh, man, I'm stressed out. I just want fighting. I want this game to be so hectic. I want it to be so hectic that I don't exist anymore because I can't get a word in.
Don't worry, you're going to have plenty of time to talk this game, I think. I like to see the first strike for Slice. A little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra gold, just as you're doing Zed things across the map. Kurosh, of course, we didn't really talk about the Jace at all. How do you feel about the Jace Yone matchup?
Jace Yone, really depends. It's very much snowball reliant because, of course, if first side comes out from Yone, he gets himself a little bit more tankiness and can actually take the first impact from Kurosh. Of course, he will win that 1v1 compared to the Jace. If he has enough damage to burst out Vantage before he gets his combo off. Of course, he wins. But I would say that Jace is favored, of course, early on is a range versus melee matchup, even though Leon can dash across the map with his E. Still want to give him the massive favor towards him. But really interesting matchup to look. Top lane, I would say that Rich Gang's in a pretty comfortable position until that level 6, as Typical can just body slam here and walk himself out to safety. But once that level 6 comes through, yeah, I feel like Typical's big goal is just hit a combo, run yourself out to safety, and beg that Theodore doesn't catch up. Because if he does, you're not going to be yourself in a good position. But remember, it's all great and all talking about mid, talking about top. This is jungle matchup. It's Slice versus Chimney. Let's see if this Zed can get anything going on, as he will be signed towards the bot side, making sure to grab that blue buff as Zed, allowing you to get your clone and your abilities up a little bit quicker, allowing that clear speed to be a little bit faster than before. As Zed's one of these champions that just has absurd items or like absurd damage against these jungle camps, so it's actually not a bad clear speed.
Already clearing very, very quickly, in fact. Doing considerably faster than Timey, actually, which I'm surprised to see. So
It's a bit like when you have a Garen.
game. Let's see what it can do, Mirai.
Yeah, do you know when you have like a you have a Garen or Darius in the jungle? Somehow they just like clear extremely fast, a bit like Zyra, someone that wasn't built for the jungle, but because they have a few stats that work that way, it does work out. You can even see using that clone to have great damage over the enemies. He's a full entire camp up.
Would you believe me if I told you Leona has a good jungle clear?
Stop with this Leona, man.
It doesn't, by the way. I just wanted to psych you out. Oh boy, typical.
I trust you enough.
Mirai gonna get dove. Brisson will be the one who picks up that kill though, catcher. Could be fine going underneath the turret here. And Theodore gonna be able to pick up the kill onto Typical as well. Slice was there to try and help. However, got to note, this Olaf did not have TP, so Typical is going to be able to get a little bit of CS advantage to pay back for the CS that he lost from dying.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he is actually getting that CS advantage, because the wave is pushing in towards that Olaf, because that big wave already stacked up, of course, forces it to bounce back towards him. So forces out the TP, forces out the flash, and with a kill over towards you, that is first blood. There's an extra 100 gold that Theodore was able to accumulate for him. So really big for them. Of course, Slice getting that assist gives themselves an extra 150, because of course the assist is half of a kill towards his pocket. So are going to be pretty happy with that. And remember, towards the bot side as well, Braum was the one to pick up the kill, but fourth wall Chimney being able to find something towards the bot lane.
Yeah, and if this returns to like the oldest brackish meme I have ever made. When I'm talking about champions like J4, like Xin Zhao, they at their core are champions that I feel like you need to get stuff done early game on. And the meme goeth thusly that if you're not affecting at least 2 of your lanes by 5 minutes as Xin or Jarvan, why are you even picking the champion?
Now, I think that's a very respectable thing to do. So they've already affected one lane. Let's see if they can do another 2 minutes. They are going to be looking towards the top side. Braum having a very good roam time.
By the way,
but
I'm just saying that actually counts. Just showing up to make Typical's life awkward does count as affecting.
well, affected it, but probably not in the correct way, as the top laner Typical is very happy with how it's going. Bardags has to lose a few CS for it and force the TP out of Vantage, so the best idea was for Grizzon to stay towards the bot lane, make sure that Bardags had somebody there to support him, because yeah, you know, a Unicorn of Love, an old LCS player, you want to play for him.
Right now, though, game's calming down just a little bit. Rich Gang will turn their priority towards the bot side of the rift into that first Drake. It looks like Theodore about to look to go in here, doing a good chunk of damage. Can he get the Reckless Swing? Yes, he can. The Olaf will put Typical back into the floor.
I was going to say that's all because of the level 6. Of course, you can't try and dodge it. But he didn't even have to use the ultimate to find the solo bolo in towards the top side, really abusing that first kill he found us. We are going to have another pause. This is going to stop instantly.
Swift pauses.
I mean, if I have to have a pause, that's the type of pause I want.
Yeah. I don't think I could do that much more talking today.
That's okay, man. It's not like you have a Zed in your game, a Jace, maybe, you know, a Yone.
Yeah.
It's all right, man. We all have our days to talk, and today's your day when you have to step up for these late game team fights. I have to say, mid lane has been kind of chillax. The 8 CS lead for Kuro, not too much going on in this early games. I expected a bit more as level 6 will be coming through for both these teams. And I want blood, I want violence, I want more. And you know, 4 kills in 6 minutes is good, but I want to kill a minute.
We'll see if the game catches up to your preferred tempo as we continue onwards. Obviously, Chimey making his way towards the top side. Try to look for those grubs. Typical does step in. I don't actually know if he's now aware. He's absolutely now aware and wanted really to step forwards. Chimey, I wondered if he was going to follow the Wind Becomes Lightning there. He chooses not to. Instead, they are just going to go for the slightly delayed trade of the grubs for the Drake.
Yeah, Grizzon having that first move allows them to be able to pick up those Void Grubs throughout the contention. Really good, of course, with the Olaf. If he's able to get 6, those towers are going to be absolutely rinsed. Rich Gang on the bot side trying to see what they can do. Will be forcing Bardock off this tower, but yet again, even though he's losing this tower, he's not.
I like that move from Kuro. He steps off of vision. Looks like for a second he might go and look to try and join in our dive bot lane just to make sure Vardags is forced away from the tower for as long as possible. Instead, we'll get a reset off, come back to the lane with that straight to dirt.
It's difficult because overall, yes, I would say that's a good play. However, he didn't have the mana to make that play effective. So if Vardags was actually able to take a look at him, he would understand that it wasn't playable. But overall, pretty smart. Look at the jungle.
What is Chimey doing? Slice has got level 6 already, forced to flash away as the remainder of Rich Gang make their way across. Looking to find some damage in here. Kurosh also moves to assist. At the end of the day, it's a whole bunch of nothing as we've got the proxying Olaf.
Yeah, that's what everyone dreams of when they talk about this. Slice yet again stealing away these counts. We've seen that a lot today. Already had a flame horizon towards the jungle as Theodore.
Just gonna run in on Typical, and yeah, that's what an Olaf be doing once he's got a Tiamat in his inventory. Typical loses some patience there, trying to fight the Olaf over the proxy. Wantage needs to get away here, has to flash.
The thing is, Typical always knows that he is going to lose later into the game. Once level 6 hits, Olaf wins that matchup. Even before that, Olaf wins that matchup. Your whole thing is about slow losing. So, of course, if somebody proxies against you, the best thing you could do is just clear that wave as fast as possible. Don't allow them to get tower plates. And yes, you won't be winning the matchup like that. You will take more damage. Of course, your tower will get chunked out. But it's the best thing you can do, especially when your jungler Slice is seeming to be popping off. Already got himself a 20 CS lead, had priority down towards the bottom mid lane, and even Vardags are losing out on 2 tower plates to 1. So really going well for Rich Gang if Typical can slow down.
Thing is, this top lane doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. In fact, Typical gonna try and heal up a little bit. Theodore looking for the undertow, won't be able to find it. Slice now making his way in. Theodore will be left to die in the shadows. Slice can actually find the damage here. There we go. Shutdown will go across, and Zed gets onto the board.
500 gold shutdown, and that's almost as perfect as you can have. As Typical should have been killed there, but misplay by Theodore leaves it open as 4th wall. Towards the mid lane, won't be able to open anything up. And for Rich Gang being an 8 and 14, Slice done a great job in the jungle, but you expect a bit more down towards this bot lane as well. Doug, being so low down here for so long, has been able to just pick up this CS, being able to stay safe under this tower, as he has 76 CS to 82, which is not what you want, especially when you put so many resources to try and stop him.
Yeah, doing very well for himself, being that reliable, safe carry. Left alone on the bot lane, the Ezreal very, very hard to dive. Slice, look at the Anglog Wantage. I don't know if there's a way out for the Yone. Soul of Bound comes out as well, but you gotta come back, my man. Slice will make it happen. Kurosh is the one to pick up that kill. Now Vardags has the ability to push out Chimey, Grissom nearby. Drake has respawned. No one's going for it just yet, though.
And when I was taking a look at the stats, I kind of agree why Slice picks up this champion. He's actually first out of all junglers for just pure damage. And when he picks champions like this, I feel like that kind of makes sense when you pick these assassins.
when you want to be aggressive, when you want
I
to
wasn't joking
really.
when I said about the Slice Spice.
Yeah, I mean, he's 30th damage overall, so not the best. But you do have 80 carries, of course, mid laners in the scene, so it does make sense why he is so low. Overall, as Flash Dragon should be getting taken over by the side of Rich Gang. There will be an ultimate flying by, but won't be able to finish that off. As we head towards the top side, is either Theodore yet again just bullying out Typical, as the 6 Void Grub should be heading over to them in just a second when Charlie finishes.
Oh boy, goodbye side lane. Theodore's already having a really good time. Those towers are not long for this world.
And it just feels like it's a competition between, can Slice find enough in this early game? Can he get the ball rolling enough where even though Theodore's winning the side lanes, they're just winning the team fights harder? Or if he's too slow, can Theodore find something on these sides?
Towards this bot lane, Kancha taking a lot of damage. No Flash is able to get some damage down on towards the edge, although Vardag's dropping low. Slice will be able to tank up the tower for a good long while. Mirai able to pick up that kill as Kurosh comes to be bodyguard as well, just in case the 4th wall member gets some ideas.
Yeah, trying to stay safe under that tower. Grizzon actually tanking up against Cax, thinking that they can turn that around, but because they use the barrier, since they use the E as well in that fight, of course, Zed can just walk in, finish off that kill with that Kai'Sa, and now that's 1 kill apiece for everyone except for the support on the side of Rich Gangs. They are going to get things started, but this top lane, poor Typical is not having a good game.
Olaf is just a rough one in general, and Theodore,
Especially
this is a champion that he knows in and out.
And that's the big thing, because a lot of these players are so used to the basic matchup. Of course, Gragas into Cassante, maybe you'll get like a mill every once in a while. So some champions can be more difficult, but I don't remember the last time, even in my solo queue games, where I've seen a Olaf.
Yeah. This is very much a red team. This is very much a red team Olaf situation. Where you're sat there like, what?
Look at what Olaf built second. The Zeke's Convergence, and I think I kind of like it. Because, of course, it gives a slowdown if you try to find an engage. Of course, the biggest thing against Olaf is if you run faster than Olaf and he doesn't find a way to slow you down, you're gonna be pretty safe against him. So that Zeke's Convergence giving himself a little bit more tankiness, giving himself a little bit more movement speed against you, but of course you're slowed. So not a bad pickup, as they have actually opted to put the Theodore down towards the bot side against the Gragas, as they will be looking for more tower plates.
Exactly. Meanwhile, though, Vantage in some trouble.
Dodge.
Fate sealed. Does manage to get him out, actually, although he does need to come back. Slice will reap his bloody toe.
It's a rough one against the Zed.
The aggression, I love it, as Mirai coming in. Grised so low, but does not drop Shimey. Too healthy to consider diving in on. This early game was looking pretty good for 4th wall, but this last 5 to 8 minutes, this elongated passage of play has been already.
It just feels like they don't know what to do against the Zed, because Wanted wants to go for the 1v1 play, but he knows if he ever takes too much damage, Zed comes in, ults him, and he's practically dead on top of that. Chimey, of course, lose down the 1v1 against Zed, as it is a counter matchup. So 4th wall only can play around their top laner, and if they bring too many people up here, Rich Gang will do the same, and they are going to lose in a bigger format, so they just have to hope that Theodore can just be this big character.
Look at this health that Theodore's getting back.
It's just unfair.
Typical has completed up the Seraphs, which is going to keep him alive a good amount longer in these elongated situations. But he really, really needs to pick up Oblivion or the wow, I forgot the name. Bramblevest.
It's not even that. It's like, even if you pick up the Oblivion Orb, he heals less, but you're still never killing him, are you? Like, the amount of healing he does, even if you go full AP Gragas, if he heals
you're going to kind of need the anti-heal just to, like, deal with him full stop.
It's difficult. It's really difficult, because yes, I agree with you, but we will just have to see what they can do against this. They do have themselves Rift Held on the side of Rich Gang, because they want to try and open up the map, especially towards the mid lane. That is the place to do so. Second dragon, or sorry, third dragon, and sell point for Rich Gang is going to be up in 30 seconds. They push out mid, trying to push out bot lane, and we'll have to see if 4th wall wants to go for this contest, as Theodore's in a very good position with 2 items completed. But the going to have to play this fight carefully. They need to lock people down to allow Theodore to run them down.
I was wondering if both Rich Gang rather would try and commit people towards bot lane to try and do enough damage to scare Theodore off from actually doing anything towards this fight. Instead, it looks like Rich Gang are going to prioritize towers over taking this trade. Vardag's going to get engaged upon. Slice deals a good chunk of damage, but takes a lot in return here. Theodore trying to look for the angle in. The slows coming out from Typical should be able to keep it relatively tame. Slice can continue to throw the damage out with those shadows chiming. Looking for a way in as Kurosh starts walking down from the top lane. Putting the angle in here, in fact, Theodore going for it. Mirai has to use everything to try and survive, but still dies to the ignite of Brisson. Down will drop Panshare also. Keep the advantage is exactly what Fourth Wall needed to break this fight open. They will be able to deny Soul Point.
Yeah, going to be able to deny that Brisson does need to be careful. Looking for the fight here. Slash should try and get it.
Typical is just not tanky enough right now. AP Gragas just not surviving. Kurosh trying to look for angle in here. Will get stunned up with the concussive blows. The tower, or the dragon rather, will go down. Slice was looking for an angle in as well. Not able to do it. Slice having to use everything to try and survive. The reckless swing does not care about your flash. And that will be 3 members dropping as Rich Gang. They stick around for a fight they had no need to stick for.
Yeah, Theodore having the game of his life, being 5-2-3 with that reset, might be able to finish off that third item. As this all started off with Grissom finding that ultimate onto the Kai'Sa, knocking them up, and it was go, 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 as Theodore helped finish off the first kill. And then, of course, Wantage, great ultimate onto Kuros to finish it off. So they grabbed themselves the dragon, stop that soul point from the side of Rich Gang, and give Theodore even more time in the side lanes. And now you got to question Rich Gang, what's their type of play? Do they want to try and stay away from this Olaf, allow him to get to a point where he isn't as scary? Because Olaf's one of these champions, the longer the game goes, the less scary it gets, the more damage your characters can deal against him once you play this front to back fight. But you need to leave that with time, and you've already got the first 2 dragons, so they could give up 2 dragons more and look for opposite side plays of the map, as they know they win the 4v4.
I don't remember what builds out Steel Sigil, which is Theodore's latest
He could go GA. GA is definitely a possibility for him.
Death Stance.
Yeah, Death Stance, of course. Very good item for him. And everything GA should definitely be on the cards for him, because you saw the amount of healing he had from low HP. If he goes into that GA, uses the healing when he comes back up, he can practically be half to maybe 3/4 HP. So plenty of good use of that. And if you build it early on, you should maybe get a couple of uses of it. As for the time to defend this top lane, trying to stop Lewis from getting to this. You see top lane, very even battle between these 2 burst-wise.
Does Chimey overcommit here though? Slicing, looking for the angle in. Chimey does not know. All this damage gonna come down. Present guard comes out. Nice got into the finds angle though. Kurosh is going to drop here. Wantage will go down in trade. Chimey should just about be able to get back underneath the tower and survive. Meanwhile, Mirai caught out towards the mid lane, and Vardags will take him down.
Yeah, and you must expect this mid lane tower to fall as well on the back of that. And the more I'm thinking about Rich Gang, the more I'm actually really enjoying this mid 2v2. Curious and Slice having 2 very burst heavy champions. So if you use the ult from Zed and use the burst from Curious as well, you most likely kill these squishy champions as Chimey. So please be careful.
I don't know if Terra is really going to matter all that much. Slice comes in over the wall. Might do damage here. In fact, will just about be able to take it down. Kansha, thankfully, was the one tanking it.
Yeah, but they bring 2 people top. He still gets that top lane tower, as the rest of his team get 2 in the mid lane yet again. As now we take a look at Olaf's items, he should be able to complete on his next reset. And Fourth Wall have done a very good job of making this all about Olaf, to converting it to the team, as now this AD carry Vardag, somebody who has been left alone in this game, pretty close to that second item, got the extra gold from the mid lane 2 towers, of course 750 for the second, 300 in the middle, with 1,000 gold share between them, so that does allow him to finish that second item. And now it's even less like a 1-person Fourth Wall and more like a 2-3 person.
Yeah, it's It's feeling real spooky if you are Rich Gang here. Remember, if Fourth Wall win this game, there is no such thing as Cows making it to playoffs. They will be locked out because of their losing head-to-head.
And it's a I feels like it's a bigger game for Fourth Wall than it is for Rich Gang. Because Rich Gang, even if they lose here, they can still get first place if they win tomorrow. They still have plenty of opportunities. Worst case, they get themselves a slightly lower seed. They can go down to third place, and they're still in the upper bracket, still in a comfortable spot. As Theodore, yet again, going against Typical as what is that damage?
Phase Rush will keep Typical alive, but the shield from Sarah has been dropped as well. So looking for the angle on him, but he is absolutely melted by Vantage. As the mid lane is being collapsed on, Mirai dies. The flash from Kanche will keep him alive. With Slice dead, there is nothing to stop Fourth Wall from going to Baron.
Yeah, completely. Just start this Baron. You know that the top laner can't do anything against it because he's so far behind. Mid laner, best he could do is poke you out. So Fourth Wall should have just easily been able to pick this up. We thought that Theodore was scary before with those 6 void grubs. Add a Baron on top of it, and that man is going to be unstoppable on these side lane towers unless they bring the full team, and that of course allows the rest of the team to pick up these towers. So with this Baron reset, I expect a 1-4 format for them, as Dragon is still possible for both of these teams. If Rich Gang really wanted, they could maybe sneak it away, but it seems like they are just going to give it up and look towards the top side instead.
It would be really hard to contest at this point. They don't have any vision set up. In fact, Typical's gonna go up to find 3 members of Fourth Wall already on their way to take their second Ocean Drake of the game.
If Typical could have slowed them down a little bit, could have really helped us. Yeah, we see exactly what I was talking about. Rich Gang opting to head towards the top side instead. See if they can grab themselves at least 1 tower towards their name, as Vantage is politely just saying, hey, completely fine. You can take this top lane tower, but we are going to be getting a lot bot lane. You see 2 people towards this Dragon and Grissom just making sure that Theodore is able to be in a comfortable 1v1.
Feeling very comfortable though. Fate Seal coming through. Slice trying to get that damage down. Not quite able to find it just yet. Shock Blast misses as well. They're having to bring Mirai in to secure the kill also. True Shot Barrage will fly over the top. Not finding anything, but Theodore has taken down that bot lane tier 2.
But that's every single ultimate used on the back of that to try and find something towards the bot lane, which allows Fourth Wall just to walk in, find themselves a kill onto Kuros.
Has to flash. Phase Rush will just about keep him alive, I think, unless Grissom wants to try for a flash Q.
I don't even think you need to flash Q. You're faster than him. You just want to try and stop this reset. Keep the flash for that next fight, but it seems like I might be wrong here. It's just... Okay, it really upsets me as we do see it play.
He'll go in golden. Theodore, can he do the damage he needs to do? The flash out. Flashing forwards, though, goes on to a killing spree. Will not be able to survive this. Slice will take him down for the shutdown. In the meantime, Vardax knocking on the door of the mid lane inhibitor turret, and Mirai far too low to commit. No killer instinct to speak of either.
Yeah, but the mid lane tower falls, the top lane tower falls as well, only leaving 1 outer tower from the side of Rich Gang. So even though Theodore dies for that, they gain so much on the back of it, you have to say that's worth for him. The reason I say that the flash top lane for Grissom isn't the greatest players, if he uses that flash and they, for example, kill Kurash, does it really matter? They would have still got the top lane tower. Everything would have happened towards the bot lane and mid lane the exact same. And he would just be dead for 20, 30 seconds. And now he doesn't have it for the next major team fight for the next 5 minutes. So it's plays like that where you think, hey, save this up, use it for a better opportunity. As Fourth Wall, no matter what happens, is still in an incredible position, have themselves a 5k gold lead. And their top laner has 4 items to 1.5.
Yeah. Safe to say that Typical has not had the very best of games here. But especially the most recent pickup out of Theodore is pretty spooky. Sterats. Good luck killing this Olaf. You have to burn basically everything to kill this Olaf. And you've still got the Yone, the Ezreal, the Xin Zhao to deal with.
It's just everything and more, because if you use everybody on him, I'm not sure if they even kill him if they find the perfect team fight against it. They need to use that. They need to use that Z ultimate to perfection with everyone else's burst of the Kai'Sa with isolated Q. Cuirass, of course, burst combo on top of him, and then maybe they can kill him because they don't even have the CC from Leona. Leona's just going to get absolutely popped behind him. So really difficult to do. As Dragon will be up in 2 minutes 10 seconds. Of course, Baron as well. So I do expect the side of 4-4 to just slowly choke out the side of Rich Gang, get themselves ready for that Baron in 2 minutes time. As this team has really been doing well in this later half of the NLC division. Of course, being 5-7, looking themselves into playoffs, and everything right now is leading towards that.
And the question is becoming less and less of one. Were Fourth Wall going to do enough to secure themselves a playoff spot? The answer is looking more and more likely to be yes here, as Rich Gang are struggling to deal with this extremely strong Olaf, and they have, of course, plenty of other carries to work with. That's an isolated Q. They did what? 300 damage?
I mean, it tickled. Definitely did that. It was Rich Gang sending 4 members down towards the bot lane, trying to use everything to get onto Theodore. But yet again, if you bring everybody down towards the bot side, look what happens top lane. Bardax and Chimey having a full wave isn't going to be able to do much without Baron. But once that Baron becomes available in a minute's time and they pick it up, that's going to be a huge play to be able to pick up these Nexuses. So I expect Rich Gang in the next 30 seconds or so to maybe look for a play. See if you can find some pickup. You have Leona ultimate, you've got Zed paired up with that, even the Kaiser to follow up. So Kanska needs to do something here.
Does feel like it is on his shoulders right now. They are looking to try and find an angle for a fight, as they do. Finds a knowledge onto Grissom advantage, trying to get out here. Slice does seem to have his number though, and pop goes the Yone. Grissom will drop as well. Chimey on the run here a little bit. Rich Gang just trying to keep them busy. They want, of course, the Baron or the next Dragon to come up, and they have this advantageous position to be able to secure it. Chimey, of course, still up and alive. Doesn't have a smite right now, but it will be coming up fairly shortly. Rich Gang, they are really hunting right now for the demolition. Bardax takes 2/3 of the Zed cover. Into the angle with the Zenith blade as well. Down goes Bardax. Chimey now needs to try and get away, but Kurosh is on the chase. The inhibitor has died in the bottom lane though. Typical is not able to deal with Theodore on his own. They'll be able to take down the Baron, but at what cost, Zapdos?
Yeah, it's going to cost at least 2 inhibitors for this, but that's the best thing that Rich Gang could have done. Yes, you lose 2 inhibitors. Yes, that isn't good overall, but that's the best play you can make because you found the pickup in mid lane I asked for. You get yourself Baron as well. So even though these 2, waves are going to be coming into you, you have the Baron to defend it. It allows you to scale up. It's to the point where Olaf doesn't really get much stronger. Sure, he can get 1 more item. Sure, he can get 1 more level. But that's it. That's when he is fully captured. If Rich Gang can hold out for another 5, another 10 minutes, they can really turn this game around. As Forfall will be able to pick up the Dragon for free. I don't expect any contention from the side of Rich Gang, as they will instead just be looking to go for these side waves. As Rich Gang is starting to feel like Rich Gang. As before, it's felt like they were very much just, I guess, on autopilot is the best way, because they are better than this one being an 8-14.
It did feel like they were flailing a little bit for the last 10 or so minutes, but they came to life very quickly as they found those picks. They found the Baron. They are evening up the gold piece by piece. They're going to push out the mid lane right now. I think the call to not worry about the Drake here is probably wise.
Yeah, it's so point. It's not the full soul. You can give it up. Rich Gang yet again doing the same plays beforehand, pushing out this mid wave, making sure that their mid lane Akurish can push out top lane as well. And with this Baron buff, they could look to get this bot lane tower. But the big issue is you don't want to slightly overextend and allow the enemy team to try and force a fight. Your whole goal is just try and defend, try to scale up, and get yourselves in a position where you aren't massively down in gold, because right now it's only 1,000 leads before wall. It feels a lot bigger when it's on Theodore.
Slice pulling a lot of damage down on Johnny right here, but he is not dropping, and the Zed will get caught by the Fate Seal. Mirai trying to survive. Will be able to get around for a while longer. Bardax drops the Kurosh here as Bristol was trying to do the damage. Kancha, however, will be left to the wolves. In fact, Theodore feels like he wants some more here. Ghost was popped, doesn't choose to use the Ragnarok. Will end up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Fourth Wall, and they start marching down the mid lane.
Yeah, Rich Gang not having any ways for 4-4 to play on should be able to defend this with the Baron buff, especially down towards the bot lane, typical, pushing out another wave. So yes, they died, but they should be able to defend this.
Fourth wall, can they keep this wave that they have brought with them alive? As soon as it drops, any hope of ending goes away. Typical. Taking a little bit of damage. Mariah gets engaged upon the Kaiser. Just about able to survive. Wantage will die to the tower. Theodore should be able to take the Kaiser down as soon as she comes out. She goes invisible for a second though. As Slice has respawned, trying to do the damage. Kurosh surviving for a while longer. Chimey will be able to do a lot of work. Theodore will fall. They are unable to end the game. Rich Game respawn and they restabilize.
And that's the exact thing I talked about. They have enough wave clear with their team. They made a small mistake of not finishing off that minion, of course, that siege minion. However, they still were able to defend. They get themselves in the position where, really, what do they lose? They didn't lose either of their two towers. Both inhibitors should be spawning in the next minute's time, and they've been able to get more gold into their pocket as Kaiser has 4 items to their lane, 3.5 towards their mid lane, and 4 onto their set as well. So there are plenty of big opportunities to go for these fights. As Theodore, he's looking strong, but not as strong as before.
I don't know how I feel about that's either Crypt Bloom or Void Staff, but why are we seeing it on the Gragas at this point? Do we not just want him to build a bit more tank?
Well,
Actually
that's
be
the
able to
big
survive
thing.
a little bit more?
You would like a bit more tank, but maybe they're thinking, hey, Theodore heals a lot. We need to make sure that we burst him out before the fight. So maybe that extra bit of damage of if you kill him, the healing, of course, will really help out that team. Give yourselves a little bit more HP in that fight. But I do think going tank is probably the best option. As Fourth Wall have themselves onto Soul Point, 2 minutes until they can pick up that 4th one if they want to. Of course, there will be a fight in that way. And, of course, that top lane outer tower really being a gripe for them. Not being able to grab that up too shortly as inhibitors coming up. 30 seconds to a minute time, I do believe.
That they will. Theodore pushing the wave in on bot lane once again. Fourth wall. The remainder of them going to shove up this mid lane. Obviously, we've got 90 seconds now till both Drake and Baron. They don't really have to do much until these objectives spawn.
They're in a good position. They just need to make sure that their war coverage is correct, make sure they aren't flanked by any of these teams. As a front to back is still very strong for this team. If you force Rich Gang to go into you, that's exactly what Olaf wants to do. So they need to make sure that they have priority over these major objectives. Of course, Rich Gang not wanting this happen, being a 4-man unit.
Looking for a flank angle here, though.
That's all.
Rom is looking for the old angle. He doesn't have the flash, though. In fact, he takes a lot of damage before he can do anything. Slice goes in, goes out. Kanji, however, has already died. Theodore looking to make it happen. Slice able to dodge out once again. They're playing this dodging in and out style. Rich Gang, they don't seem to be able to deal with it. The burst coming through out of the Gragas is enough. Mirai is able to take down Chimey. Theodore has no ultimate, has no flash, has the ghost available, but I don't know if running at Rich Gang is going to be the answer. And playing at the very extent of their range, Rich Gang seem to have found something that Fourth Wall can't deal with.
And they need to find the reset here. If Typical is able to stop all 3 of them, they could try to find the end here, but it's looking like Olaf is able to finish it off. Typical.
Yep, Theodore is able to get it. Typical is going to go golden, but is almost certain to die here. Theodore, though, how long can he survive? Not long at all, it would seem, as Mirai comes forward, takes the kill down. Kristen and Bardax, you got to get back quick, otherwise Rich Gang are going to steal this game out of your hands. And what looked for the longest time like Fourth Wall were going to secure themselves a spot in playoffs is ripped out of their hands, and Rich Gang will lock themselves a top 2 seed in the summer season. And we go to Kamara.
That's difficult, isn't it? That is really difficult to face, especially on the side that just lost. Because Rich Gang, if I'm honest, should have lost 100%. From start to middle game, they made some good plays. Sure, they played around their bot lane super well, mid lane as well. But the longer the game went on, they just weren't able to get this Olaf to have that final thing. Because after 2 inhibitors and you have Baron on your side, it should just be lights out. So I'd love to say that Fourth Wall had the game stolen from them, but they let it slip. They let them hide. And if this happened today in this series, it must have happened a few times in the regular split earlier before. So I feel like Fourth Wall
they need to shore up, especially tomorrow, because if they do this in playoffs, they're not going to get far.
One playoff spot remains. Fourth Wall or NLC Sport are the team that will pick it up. Rich Gang get to be the gatekeeper again. They beat Fourth Wall today, but if they beat Chaos tomorrow, then regardless of the result in the Fourth Wall game, they'll still get in.
The problem is, I don't have full belief that Rich Gang wins that. They have squandered such a big opportunity for Wall to get themselves into that playoffs. Today was the day where you could decide, but of course, very much difficult when it is out of your hands. They really need to hope that Rich Gang is able to do it.
They could still beat 42 tomorrow.
Yeah.
42 have been on a complete tear, though. So
they just made it harder than it has to be. And I think I know why.
Very true.
They know we're casting and they know how much they love the NLC. So they're giving us excitement, spice. Because imagine if they won that and we have to come in here tomorrow and be like, hey guys, same game as always. Everybody's locked in. Here for fun.
Well, that fun will be reserved for tomorrow. But before we finish up for the day, we should have one final interview coming up. So we're going to set that up right quick. We'll be back for you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, everybody, for the final interview of the day. We've got Kancha here from Rich Gang. First up, congrats for locking in a top 2 spot in playoffs.
Thank you, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I think it's a good step up from less split from my part at the very least. So it's nice.
Yeah, really well
Fantastic to
done,
hear.
of course. You're actually first for assists after the whole entire split. That's a cool fact about yourself if you didn't know about that. But Kansk, just talk. What happened?
Yeah, the game was
Olaf.
a bit messy. Yeah, I don't know. Top lane died once, twice. I don't know how many times, and it's like, I don't know. Olaf is a good champion. It was a bit of a problem, but they went for red buff, and we went for Nexus. So we been chilling.
Yeah, so that's actually the funniest thing. Of course, your top laner stopping their resets, only allowing Olaf to come back, actually allowed you guys to win. So the funny thing is, your top laner may have been the main reason you won that in
Yeah,
that
this is
fight.
an inspirational story about winning despite adversity. Typical did a lot of work to ensure that you
Yeah,
locked this one in. So, don't flame him too hard.
Yeah,
No.
everybody has rough games, of course. Everybody has difficulties, but was able to hold on long enough to allow you guys on the opposite side to make the plays. And yes, today didn't go the way you want to, but you guys are in first seed right now. Clearly, have to be a good team to be there, but having a little bit of a slump right now. How are you guys feeling going in towards the playoffs? You guys feeling confident? Anything you need to work on?
Well, work on everything. I don't know. It's it's a bit messy sometimes with the B1s. It's a bit hard to know exactly how good you are, how bad you are. So going into best of threes, best of fives, I don't know if it's just best of fives or best of threes, but
It's best of
it
three.
okay. So it's gonna be a bit more like it's gonna be easier to see who's good and who is not so good. And I hope we are the ones that are good this time around.
We'll,
Yeah,
we'll,
so I
we'll
don't know.
wait. We'll wait until next week to figure that one out. I think you've got one
Yeah.
game still to come. Have you heard that you're the gatekeepers now? Because obviously you just now stopped Fourth Wall from locking playoffs. If you beat Chaos tomorrow, you also guarantee that Fourth Wall makes playoffs. So you just stop them from making playoffs, and then you can help them make playoffs tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we are aiming for the first place. I think it's in our hands, right? To lock
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
You win tomorrow,
So
nobody can stop you.
exactly. So that's the goal, to win tomorrow. Probably it's gonna be a different showing. Hopefully for the good part. I don't want to have another game like this split, but we'll see. We're probably gonna do something a bit wanky, and it's gonna be fun at the very least. Everyone is gonna enjoy it.
The question I have to ask is what happened with the Zed jungle? Because of course I've seen your junglers play it
It's the
3
slice
times in a row.
spice.
Is it the slice spice? Is it true?
Yeah, I don't know. My guy is like, okay, I guess we're going sad when he saw Sinzao. He's like, okay, I guess we're just doing that. I just lock in Leona for the 10th time this split or something, Nautilus Leona duty every game, and topside is like, dude, give me
sound a
this,
little-
give me that.
You do sound almost a little bit salty about that. Are you wanting maybe a little bit
Uh,
more Encounter Spice coming out?
Hell no. I just sometimes maybe I can get one counter pick, not this
Oh, I
okay,
see.
But like,
duty.
who counters
Come on,
Leona?
guys, Rich Gang, give this man his counter pick, all right? He's been
Yeah,
doing
I don't
work
know.
all split long. Anyway, we're not going to make this interview drag on any longer because it is
Yeah.
end of a long day. Congrats on the win, Kansha. Do you want to shout
Thank you,
anyone
thank you.
out before we let you go?
No,
Oh,
I
good.
don't.
It's fantastic. Love
I
it.
just don't want.
Nice and succinct. We'll let you go then, as Zach and
Uh,
I will close out the day.
Thank you.
Oh,
Bye bye.
Brackish. I've had a fun day.
yeah.
I've had a great
Them's
time.
was some games, bud.
Amen. That's what we want, Of course, more games
What we
tomorrow.
like, what we like more than anything else? We like there
What?
still being some stakes into the very last day of the split. Fourth Wall or Chaos Esport will lock themselves the last playoffs spot tomorrow. We've got 4 games coming up. Hopefully they shall be all brought to you. Ruse versus Garden Gaming around 7 p.m. ye olde British time, so 8 p.m. CST.
Johnny L. Governor.
Followed by Fourth Wall versus 42, followed by Lazy in Life versus Unique, and finished out by Chaos Esport versus Rich Gang. We hope to see you there. I won't be, but I'll be there in spirit to enjoy the games. And hope you will be here to help us round out the regular split. And then next week, it's off to playoffs. I've been Bracket Brit. Thank you, Zath, for being here the whole way along. Shout out
Been
to
a pleasure.
Vodka on production as well. And we will see you next time in a bit.